You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
I was going to go to town, Mac Daddy.
The wasteland is a post-apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, frozen atomic waste. From deep within the core, frozen atomic waste.
Hello and welcome to the 432nd edition of the Fallout Feed. I am Andrew, joined by a flock of my favorite Fallout folks. Tonight, we've got Ray. What's up, Ray?
Hello, hello.
Also, Jess. What's up, Jess?
430 seconds. This is going to be our fastest show ever.
432nd. All right, countdown. Go, guys.
Greets,
Also,
everybody.
we've got Pip-Boy Steve, returning all-star. What's up, Steve?
Hey, Kiora, everybody.
Kia or Steve? I know it's not Kia or it's Kio. You got to run them together. Kiora, Steve, welcome to the show. If everybody knows Steve from being our awesome IT guy for the podcast, who does all of our awesome Pip-Boy random character generators, you can find on our website by going to asapodcasting.com and clicking through the Fallout feed art there. Take you down, find all of our random character generators and all of our season schedule. Tonight we are wrapping up the Fallout 4 Survival Mode Roundtable, and we are the show who compares and contrasts Fallout experiences through a lively roundtable discussion by playing through the same quests with characters who have been randomly assigned drastically different attributes. So welcome, everybody. Tonight, we'll get through our gameplay a little bit off the top of the show. I expect a little bit of Starfield chatter, perhaps. Quests. We are now ending the Nuka World portion of the roundtable with Home Sweet Home and Power Play. Steve will give us a rundown of his achievement run, let us know how that's been going. We've also got a good deal of iguana bits for the first time in a while, so get into a little bit of news from the Fallout world. So stick around, everybody, and let's have a good old time tonight. Hey, Steve, did you get a chance to play any video games this week, sir?
I did play some video games this week.
It's pronounced Vidya. Come on.
Vidya games. Yeah. I've been playing, well, on my phone. You know what? I've been playing a little bit of a game called Marvel Snap. I might have mentioned it before.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like Magic and Hearthstone.
Yeah.
But with Marvel characters. The game is fun when you relax and have fun and don't worry about winning so much, because there is a ranking thing, because you can only play against other people, but it's just fun to get out there and do it. And so I have like this Thanos and Death deck. Death is a character and it's a card, and I named it Thanos and Death forever.
Very nice. Are you an old school comic book guy? Did you read comics back in the 80s and whatnot?
Yeah, I am. I'm like many guys in the 80s and 90s were buying up a lot of comic books.
Nice.
I didn't keep up a physical collection much into the 90s, but yeah. So I did a lot of reading comic books.
Well, Moses was interested in reading some of the backstory when the whole what are those two, Endgame and the two like Avengers movies that were
Infinity War
and Endgame. He's really interested in that source material, and I never read comic books much as a kid. Well, I read Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse comic books. I never really read Marvel and DC and Dark Horse or whatever. I don't even know when Dark Horse came around. So we got the graphic novel of the Infinity War Endgame stuff. And he was just like, what is going on here? And I was like, yeah, this is nothing like any of the movies are like, buddy. So it's pretty amazing to see like Adam Warlock and his representation in those. he's such a huge character in that story, but he wasn't even mentioned in Endgame or in any of that. You know what I mean? But then he pops up all of a sudden in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and you're like,
Right.
what is happening here? But yeah, so much fun.
Yeah, that whole
I really
cosmic
love,
area of Marvel.
I'm glad you
Yeah.
mentioned Thanos. He's one of our favorites. Mo and I really like Thanos a lot.
Yeah. And then I've been playing Starfield.
Nuh-uh. Nobody has.
Yeah,
You
huh?
too.
Yeah. Little bit. Little bit.
I'll look forward to hearing about that too. But Marvel Snap, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a
Oh
mobile
yeah.
game. It's
It is a
are,
mobile game.
are you really into it? Like, is it something you can pay without playing? Play without paying?
Oh, okay, yeah. You can be a whale if you want, but I haven't put a dime into it and I've been having a hell of a lot of fun. I've been playing it for months. And so yeah, you get new characters. Like I have Rogue and she steals other characters' powers. So it's cool.
Oh,
I love
sweet.
sending her out to go and mess with the other people.
That's cool.
And then I have a Legion card, which is cool. So do you know who Legion is? There
Uh,
was a show about it. That was
oh
it was a
yes,
cool,
I definitely
weird,
watched the
quirky show.
show. It was super trippy with David. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah, so that's based on Legion, who is Charles Xavier's son, and he has like crazy mind abilities. And so I use my Legion deck to copy and move the lands around and make crazy things happen. It's like Magic Commander, except it's just like 20 card commander. There you go. So make some crazy shit happen.
So I didn't even know it
Um,
was a card-based game, like a digital trading card kind of game,
yeah,
like Magic or something. Okay.
yes, exactly. Like Hearthstone or Magic, those type of competitive build a deck. And so you build like a super team, there's bad guys too, all of them. And also one of the things is that there's a lot of interesting, cool art. So you can have multiple different kinds of art for the cards. Like I have a Jim Lee Cyclops, right? So Jim Lee was known for doing a lot of X-Men art in the 90s.
Hmm.
And so I have an alternative Cyclops art card by him. But also, I had here noted. Oh, I have a Sunspot variant. That's one of my favorite, and the pencils are by Dan Moria and color by Marcio Menez. So it's cool that artists are getting credit on the card game. Um, I don't know if they're getting financial
Finally,
credit
right?
for it, but
I would
yeah,
hope so. I would hope so because that's a big part of it. And a lot of the artists who do things for other collectible trading card games, like Magic in particular, they've become pretty
yeah,
well known, and I assume make a living off that, or at least part of it.
yeah. So so yeah, because it's Marvel, there's a lot of cool art um and it plays well. So, anyways, yeah, and I haven't put a dime into it, so it's really fun.
Okay, that's
It's a
good to
good
know.
game.
It's always the
I
question,
recommend it.
and I'm
Yeah,
asking partly because we'll be talking about some mobile games later during Iguana Bit. So
yeah. And there is a randomly you get stuff like not everybody's going to get a Thanos card right off the bat to play with because you have to like play a lot. But it keeps rewarding me, and I've been playing for months, and I haven't run out of things to get. So,
that's awesome. Speaking of
yeah.
awards, you mentioned Starfield. Do you want to get into it? I'm sure you'll drag us all into the conversation with this, except for Andrew, most likely, because he's a very upsetting note in the notes tonight.
I knew
But
that
I
we're
would
going to include that,
trigger you
Andrew.
I was
guys.
like, what? Maybe we should address that. I
No,
don't
I
know. I'm
didn't.
not
No, I
sure.
don't want to get into it. I'm too hurt.
He wants to save
I'm
it.
too hurt.
Okay.
Steve,
Um,
Steve, right before you continue, sorry, you used a
yeah,
term, and I
sure.
can gather its meaning from context, but you said be a whale in context with the game.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
a whale.
I can gather its meaning from context, but could you explain that just a little bit?
Sure. So my understanding of being a whale in games is having lots and lots of dis disposable income to spend on games, like thousands of dollars. If I wanted to put thousands of dollars into I don't know actually if you could put thousands in, but maybe put into Marvel Snap. But there are games out there you can. Then you're a whale.
It's like in Shelter. If I wanted to buy all of the lunch boxes and pets and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Really,
I gathered that.
whales are people who kind of spend like a couple, hundreds of dollars or sometimes more. But the truth is, a lot of people on free to play games, they maybe buy a pack or two, like in their entire time playing, and resist mostly. But then there are whales who put in money after money after money. I'm trying to think if I've ever been a whale on a game, because there are a couple I put distressingly too much money into. Um, but yeah,
Like
yeah,
what?
there's some.
What mobile game would you have dropped the most on?
Well, that's what I'm trying to think, because I feel like there's one that I maybe have put over $100 into. But like Pokemon Go, you would buy things occasionally, but I wasn't a whale on that one, but I spent a little bit.
Is there a culture
You can with
around?
Fallout Shelter for sure.
Yeah. I was given a gift card for like an Apple gift card or whatever, and people were expecting me to go buy songs or videos or whatever, and I totally dropped the whole damn thing on pet crates and lunch boxes and Fallout Shelter. It's like, thanks, Mom. I'm gonna get a dog that'll let me have a 30% higher chance of having twins. She's like, what? Never mind, it'll be great.
I just remember there was a mobile game called Clash Royale, which is not Clash of Clans, but a little bit similar. And I probably put $100 into that over the course of the 2 years that I was playing it a little bit too much. It's slow, it's subtle. It's like if you're having fun with it and you're playing most mornings, for like 20 minutes or whatever, it doesn't seem that bad to drop 10 in it every once in a while. And the next thing you know, it adds up.
Absolutely.
Oh, I meant to say there's not really like a way to team up and play. How can I say it? There is a way to team up and play, but you have to like exchange information. So if anybody wants to play Marvel Snap on online, get a hold of me on Discord. There you go, and we can play Marvel Snap. Yeah, that's it. Andrew's gonna check it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. And it took me 10
I,
minutes, but I finally just got, oh snap! Yeah, that's a whole Marvel thing. The Thanos snap. I just got that.
Oh no,
It
that's
took
not
me-
the reference, is it?
Took me a few minutes to get the snap thing.
I thought of a tie-in Fallout reference with Marvel Snap. I totally overlooked it. The way I heard about it was in that Todd Howard interview with the Lex guy that he did on that
Yeah, Lex Friedman.
Lex Friedman podcast that Todd Howard was doing. Lex asked, what are you playing on your phone? And he said, have you heard of Marvel Snap? And I was like, oh, what's that? And so that's where I went and got it.
And that makes sense. I've heard it referenced on a few of my regular video game podcasts. Just some of the general gaming ones where people say, "Yeah, so I put money into Marvel Snap again," or I've been playing Marvel Snap again a lot. So, you're definitely not alone on that. It seems like it's been really popular the last year or two.
Yeah. But other than that, it's Starfield, playing Starfield. One character.
Sorry, go ahead.
Straight. Only one character. I haven't started another character at all. Just one.
That's so
Jim
weird.
Jones, I named him. Or James Jones.
Jim Jones. Oh no.
Not Jim Jones. Not the
Kool-Aid
Flavor Aid guy.
Yeah.
Not John Jones, the Martian Manhunter, although that would work. Not Jan Johns, the voice actress, although that would be cool. Jim Jones, the
No.
cult leader.
Yeah.
He went to my college, you guys.
Wait, really?
That's one of my claims to fame. He was from Fountain City, Indiana, which was 10 minutes from Earlham College in Richmond, Indiana. And so I've got a small connection to good old Jimmy Jones. Sorry, aside. Go ahead, Steve. Tell us about your Starfield cult. You starting a cult, I assume?
No, not at all.
Cult.
No, not a culty guy. He's more I wish I could almost go back and change the traits or whatever, but then again not. I like what I picked, but then I'm like, I wish I could change it up.
This is
He's,
why
from
people
the-
make other characters, by the way.
I know. So he's from the Freestar Collective, and he's a member of the Church of Enlightenment. And other than that, there's no record of him. So those
Very
are my three
nice.
traits.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And you're enjoying. How far are you in Starfield? How long have you played at this point? I know we're not getting into too many story spoilers, although it's been out 2 weeks now, 3 for early access, so we can get a little bit, more detailed.
Yeah. Total played 111 hours.
Holy cow, muffins! Now, did you get early access when you played too? You did, right, with us?
I did. Yeah, I got
Okay.
the early access, the full,
So
5 days or
in
whatever
3 weeks,
it was.
that's an average of 38 or so hours a week. That's pretty
Is it?
impressive. Yeah. I mean, not that you wanted to know that, but yes.
Anybody get that pack with the cool quote unquote the little watch thing, the communicator,
The Constellation Edition that came with the watch?
Yeah, I tried
So-
to purchase that right off the bat, but they were sold out almost immediately, so I couldn't put an order in for that. But there were a couple people in our group who did get it, I think.
I know a lot of people who did. Yeah, a number of friends have. So I've seen and I've heard good things on the watch. The watch is great if you wear one. It may not be as good as
Right.
an Apple Watch or what have you if you're one that already had a smartwatch. But if you're used to wearing a regular watch, it's an upgrade. It does watchy stuff. The watch face is cool.
Well, I started a new job recently and have found out just through this course of the short week that we just had that it might be good to have a watch on my wrist instead of being constantly having to dig out my phone to see the time, because it's a giant facility and there's no clocks on the wall anywhere. And I have
Oh.
to be in like a clean suit and stuff sometimes, where it's annoying to have to like unzip, get into your clothes, find a pocket, pull out your phone, take off your gloves. It's like whole process where it'd just be a lot easier just to look at my wrist,
Why are there no clocks in the facility? Because it's a clean room?
I think it's just an upstart company still, and they just haven't everything set in stone 100% the way,
They don't
because
want clock watchers.
they don't want people sitting there wasting time looking at, no, they don't want windows so you're not daydreaming and looking at the clock, and I don't actually know if that's true or not.
The watch is nice, but it's set to New Atlantis time, and so
Fuck,
it never gives a accurate time for Earth.
got a 42-hour day and then like 9 days in a week, and like, just like a year is actually 418 days, not 360. It's all fucked up, right?
That would be brilliant if you could switch the mode, for sure. I do love how the time varies. But sorry, Steve, back to Jimmy John's.
Jimmy John's.
I've been playing on mostly,
Freaky fast.
was it extra hard? Extra hard,
Oh,
whatever it
very
is, the
hard.
highest level.
Are you a glutton?
Very hard. No, just enjoying it. Ever since Fallout 4 Survival, I was looking for that kind of,
Yeah.
harder challenge.
Hmm.
I'm still not finding it that challenging. I'm hoping they come out with like a survival Starfield. That would be
I'm
awesome.
sure
means-
they will. I mean,
you're gonna have
there
to
will be a mod
sleep
for
and
it.
eat square meals, and literally 4 square meals, 3 square meals
Yeah.
a day. Yeah.
Or 8 chunks a day. 8 chunks a day minimum plus fuel your starship.
Well,
I'm sure it's coming because they've done them so much recently.
a
Chunks
day is
was-
42 hours, so you got to eat more meals than normal.
49 actually. No wonder you're
49
hungry.
hours.
Chunks was such a hilarious addition. All the food coming in cubes.
Yeah, I want to get a Chunks hat. That would just be funny, like the one in the game. I want to wear one of those around. That'd be really cool.
They're probably selling them Bethesda gear right now.
What
I mean,
was
they're
that
coming
one?
up with some cool items.
What
So.
was it? It was like the trucker hat or something. I think it said Chunks across the front. It's like, that is cool. I love that.
And that book, reading it constantly, My Life Chunk by Chunk, from the founder of Chunks. I'm forgetting his name though. Is it Brian? Have you read the book yet?
That is the best
His
book title
biography.
ever. Oh, I want to read it now. Is there actual content to it?
I mean, that's an
Most
interesting
of the books
thing.
are a page or two.
Yeah, you don't get more than like 2 pages. Not
That-
like, like I've got bound editions of a lot of the Skyrim books behind me. I mean, there are Skyrim books like Real Baron's Eye or something that go on
Yeah.
forever. And these
The
definitely
lusty
don't.
Argonian.
That's actually pretty short. Plenty of time though.
But I have like
Yeah.
38 copies of it on my bookshelf for some reason in the game.
Yeah, they aren't in-depth books, and Bethesda really went with an interesting aesthetic for the game. They didn't go for too realistic, but they did have enough realism in there. They've got to try and either you can't quite cross that uncanny valley bridge just yet. At least in a game like this, they couldn't. So keep it to an aesthetic, which is nice. I turned the film grain off on mine. Found that helped my aesthetics quite a bit, turning the film grain off.
I dropped it to like 0.4 for a while, but I too turned it off a couple days ago. A lot of people are saying, if you want the best image, turn off film grain and, turn off depth of field. Or we've all got our preferences on that. I kind of like depth of field, and I usually hate motion blur, but motion blur is really subtle in this one, so it's not bothering me.
I think I kept all my graphics settings. Other than that, though.
Other than film,
grain,
yeah.
yeah.
And you're playing on PC, right? So you have a lot more.
And I'm playing on PC, yeah. So he's going through and doing some questing. He's become a ranger at one point, and that was fun. And I'm flying around in the Razor Leaf. Have you guys talked about that ship yet? You can get that ship through a quest and follow it, and it's kind of fun because it's kind of superhero-y.
We only hinted at it.
maybe.
We only hinted at it last week, and so don't want to get too into the details. But
Yeah,
if people
exactly. I know.
are interested, yeah, Razor Leaf, and it's connected to a quest called the Mantis, and I think that's probably enough to share. But it's cool, right?
So I'm flying that one, but I modified it. Can I talk about modifying a ship?
Oh, Ray would be very unhappy if you didn't.
Oh, I struggled with getting that interface, the figuring it out, going up and down and left and right, and replacing pieces, and realizing that stuff in the shop, the way you maneuver around the menus, it's not that intuitive, is it? You really got to
No.
play with it.
Yeah, and I just recently figured out how to change things in place. So, and it was the one that I did it on was the Razor Leaf. So it comes with that armory.
Mhm.
And I had no use for the armory, so I swapped it out without taking the piece out. So there's a way you can negotiate through the menu to replace it with another habitation. So it has to be the same 2x1 type hab, but you
Yeah.
can change the type.
It seemed to me that I could do that with those type hab units when I would use, and I'm on PC, so the control key to get like an alternate menu on when I had the piece selected, but that seemed to be kind of like the only piece I could do that. Then I could like switch through the couple different types, but if I tried to do it with like an engine part, it wouldn't do it when
Right.
I would hit the
And
control
so
button.
it has to be something, if when you pull the item up in the menu and it has different variations, so it has the little bars underneath, that shows you that you can tab through the different types.
Yep.
Those are the things that you can switch. There's a little bit of that in a few different, but habs are the biggest one.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I had a piece of cake with this building stuff. I'm just snap it together and go, you guys. Well, I don't know what you're trying to figure out over there.
Yeah, it took us all a couple hours, like we've discussed on the last couple episodes. Ray and I both really got into it, but it is not super intuitive. Oh, Ray, I don't know if you saw, but we figured out how to do the thing you were describing on PC, where you click on a junction point and
Oh, the contextual menu.
yeah. So if you go to a junction point and you hover over it on yours, what do you do? Do you right click on it or something?
No, you just hover over the spot and then hit the add button. So for
Okay.
us, it's a G,
Mhm.
and then that'll bring up all the different parts that will connect to that spot.
Right. So it only shows the ones that will connect. On
Yep.
console, we tried after the show last week because we talked shipbuilding for a little while after the show last week, and we couldn't get it to work. But it was discovered that if you hold both triggers and then press A on it to activate it, that's when it'll go. So you depress both triggers, hit A, and then it only gives you a contextual list. So it's in there. Now
Wow.
there's absolutely no no dialogue
No
about
direction,
that. Like,
right?
100% no way to know, but it was
Yeah.
discovered.
Well, and that's the thing with PC; it doesn't tell you that either. But if if you happen to be hovering over it, and it's just, the place that I noticed it was, I was trying to attach a shield,
Mhm.
but I was over a junction point that wouldn't take a shield, and so I'm like, well, why, and so I clicked on it, and all of a sudden the list of things that'll fit on there. I'm like, oh, holy crap!
That's just it's a really cool thing. A really cool thing. One of many things that I wish there was a little bit more instruction for.
Yeah.
But your shipbuilding with the Razor Leaf, how's that going, Steve?
Well, I have it's going pretty well. I do have a question of how I can move the ladder inside.
Oh, well, let
Oof.
me tell you that.
Oh, yeah. Ray could probably describe it a little bit, but this is such a thing. So, on Reddit, on our Starfield, but there's already a pretty good Reddit group for shipbuilders in particular. It is such a thing. There are people who
Is
their
it?
only goal is designing ships without ladders. Like I have made a ship without any ladders, and sometimes they're even like 2 level ships without ladders because they manage to navigate using the couple of the cockpit that allows you to go up and down, but it has to do with arrows, and I haven't figured it all out myself. I just kind of
Okay.
like Ray was describing, trying different configurations and seeing what it looks like after you exit, like save, do your thing, exit, how does it look? Because depending on where they connect, where the ladder pops in or where the door pops in, you can lose an entire unit. Like you might have a wall that has like this really cool little science bay. You're like, oh, I love it. You put a hab next to it. That's where it decides to make a doorway or a ladder, and you lose it. And
Yep.
that's no good. So, Ray, I think you know a little bit more about this or figured out some through experimentation.
So so a couple of things. One is if you use the contextual menu, so if you hover over, the spot and you select a habitation unit,
Mhm.
you'll notice that as you scroll through the different habitation units, some of them will snap um, on top of directly on top of the lower habitation unit, but some of them will snap only one spot to one spot, and so it'll be staggered, and that's because that's where the ladder is, and so if you can slot it there and then physically with the mouse move it, but now you've screwed up the connection point, and can end up with 2 units, but you can only get into one of them.
Oh, that yeah, yeah. You don't want that. They should at the least always make sure they all connect.
Yeah.
If I
No,
don't
they
care
don't make
which
sure
way
anything.
my 2x1 hab unit is facing, can I just take it and spin it and put it back in?
No.
They don't let you
No.
spin anything. That is one of my biggest complaints with the game: the lack of spinning.
Shoot.
You can flip, if some things flip, but they don't really
Hmm.
spin. At least not deliberately.
Yeah, but
Mm.
that's yeah. So it can be kind of hard to see, but if you're looking at the habitation unit, um, you'll see some of them are just circles with a dot in the middle, and some of them are circles with a dot with a little teeny tiny arrow. And that little teeny tiny arrow is the indicator of that's a passageway. And so if you connect
Oh,
if you connect two units together on those top passageways, you have to
Mhm.
make sure that they both have the little arrow, because then that will make it has a natural spot for a ladder and up you go.
So when you hover over the hab and you press G to attach something, you can see the visible connection. So there's an arrow, and that'll be where it connects. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
but you have to kind of rotate so that you can see the underside of the one that you're trying to put on top.
I am on our Starfield ships right now. That's the Reddit group I was talking about. Our Starfield ships. There's also our Starfield builder because there's always multiple subreddits for the same thing. But one thing that they're saying there is that the 1x1 hab always gets first priority for ladders in particular too. So if you want to make sure a ladder goes somewhere, if you put a 1x1 hab, it will be the ladder to that level.
Yeah.
And
then if you connect another one end to end on that, then you've got a clean passageway.
Exactly. So there'll be no ladders in the second one because the 1x1's already connected.
Yeah. And with the Razor Leaf, so one thing to note, that's an over-engineered ship. So it was designed for looks. And so you can delete, there's 2 low-powered heavy engines on the underside of the unit. You can delete those, and you'll actually gain mobility by deleting those 2 engines. And you can delete the back 2 landing gear because those are overkill. There's with just the 2 front landing gear, there's already enough thrust to get that off the ground, unless of course you load it up with stuff.
I've loaded it all up.
If you've added a bunch of cargo and put on extra habitation units and all that, then all bets are off. But if you want to just turn the Razor Leaf into a jet fighter, take those 2 lower engines off and take the 2 back thrusters off. That lowers your mass considerably, and so it becomes a much more maneuverable ship. Then while you're at it, replace the reactor.
Is Razor Leaf a reference to something that sounds super familiar to me outside of Starfield?
I don't think so. It just sounds cool.
Okay.
But I'll look it up. Hey, I just discovered a new
I changed the name of it to Mantis Blade.
Checking out the subreddit while we're podcasting, because something you should never do because it's very distracting. On Hopewell Habs, if you put, how they're under structure, there's those equipment plates that you can put on a regular joint to make it an equipment joint so you can mount guns and stuff.
Right.
If you put those on the places you don't want a ladder on the Hopewell Habs, you can then put another one on top, and only the one that's bare will be where the ladder goes.
Okay.
Clever. But I think it only works with Hopewell according to this post.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did get through shipbuilding and I got the Razor Leaf all built up and kept it in. I did have a struggle with I deleted my shield piece, and then I put one that was too high powered and I didn't have a good enough reactor for it, and so that but then I deleted my piece, and so anyways. So is that the way you just delete the old pieces?
If you delete, but that deleted one is still in the menu. So anything that you've deleted, you can still go back in there and put it back on.
I put a different one on that looked better.
There you go.
Yeah, that's exactly what we do though, because the upgrade menu only shows the same kind of model or same make, and then you can choose like model above or below. Upgrade menu is very limited. Whereas if you just yoink it out and delete it, you can then put something else in there the same shape. You get the whole panoply to choose from. And then like Ray's saying, if you don't like it, you can just, it's like a buyback. And it just kind of like tallies you up and only charges you when you check out. Also, Stilior mentions in chat, Bulbasaur used Razor Leaf, was one of his big Pokemon moves, and I think that's where you're thinking of, Andrew. It is a Pokemon move. I should have realized.
Our good buddy just dropped in chat. Lee nailed it. I've never seen or watched a thing of Pokemon other than through Mo, who briefly got into it for a while. If you've ever watched The Mandalorian, Razor Crest was the name of the ship in The
Oh,
Mandalorian.
and I haven't, but yeah, that makes sense then.
Yeah, that was the Mando's ship. And so, Lee, good call, bud. You nailed it.
Yeah, so one of the shipbuilding things that I bumped up against this week is, I've got, so Cletus, my space trucker, he got, so he's got 4 in piloting and 4 in starship design. And so I was going to go to town and build this, Mac Daddy, ship.
Impressive.
The only problem is that he's only level 15.
Oh, and some parts are level locked. It's not just skills, it's
lot of
level.
parts are level locked.
Ridiculous.
So and the parts that I really wanted, these massive shipping containers, are unlocked at level 30.
Is there a power leveling method, like if you would cheat in Fallout 4, put it on super hard, and then go to Sanctuary and build 10,000 rubber mats to level up? Is there a
Yes.
power leveling thing in Starfield?
The latest one is building spider camps.
Wait,
Spider camps?
camps?
Yeah,
Because
Sounds
That
more
sounds
like a
super
nightmare.
exciting. Yeah. I don't
because
know.
you're getting the
Sounds pretty
XP from
sweet.
the enemies. That is kind of the fast way to get
Yeah,
XP.
so you get these. It's this one particular spider on this one particular planet that is worth like 300 XP every time you kill it.
Oh wow! I've been on a planet where they're arachnid looking and they're worth a decent amount, but they're not worth that much.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And so you build a farm,
right where you get
with all the
them.
habitation units, and so you raise these spiders.
You're killing your own pets.
And because they don't fight back, it's
That makes it
it's
even
just
worse
No.
somehow.
a bloodbath.
These are-
No.
These aren't pets. These are working animals.
Livestock.
They're sheep that look at you lovingly with big doughy eyes, and they're like, "Papa, hello, Papa, I love you." Bah, 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 bah,
And
bah.
so
So-
so you
I'm
get
gonna have to look this up.
I would
maxed-
rather
this
console commands.
maxed out farm, and then you just go through and
Those
the
poor babies.
the thing you're paying for are the bullets.
Can
Okay.
you farm spiders for like the silk, or no? It's not actually silk, but they're webbing or something.
I mean,
or what?
you can build camps where you can build, a lot of little, knickknacks, adaptive frames and stuff
Yeah,
like
that-
that, and get some, leveling that way.
My method. You grab yourself an industrial workbench. You get a mine set up with beryllium and copper, so you can make yourself the tau rheostats, whatever they are there.
A beryllium
some steel.
agitator.
Yes,
Yep.
or some steel and aluminum, so you can make the adaptive frames, and you make them 99 at a time for 108 XP if you had a nap. And yeah, you have to set up some resources. But I have, like I've mentioned before, I have a 6 outpost empire now, so I get lots of resources. So
Nice.
every once in a while, if I stop by, I can grab like 500 or 600 XP just doing that, and also get some fat loot to sell over
Yeah,
at the
but that
shop.
pales in comparison to a
to
spider,
spider
farm.
farms.
I hardly think 6 outposts entails a empire. Jess, come on.
Okay, well, it's getting there. I had 8 briefly, but I deleted 2. I only did them for the achievement.
Is there a settlement
haven't-
beacon in these outposts? Can you recruit like weird space people to your outposts and stuff? Is that a thing?
Yeah, you have to recruit them in person. But you recruit them at bars. See, I like to pick up my settlers in bars, Andrew.
Cantina Star Wars style, I hope.
Exactly.
Get the ape guy.
Um,
He's cool.
Did you meet the guy in Neon? I hired him for a while.
Which
The
one?
weird-
There are 2 colorful characters in Neon, I've heard. I haven't been there yet. I still haven't been to Neon.
Oh, you haven't been there yet. Okay. Yeah, he's a minor celebrity. He had a food critic blog for a while.
I thought you meant he was really famous in the mining world for, ore or something. But no, he's a
No, he like helps your gastronomy or something. But I just kind of hired him because he's weird and creepy, and I kept him around on my ship for a while.
Anybody gone down that avenue with the gastronomy? Because I was kind of like, when I saw that was one of the perks, I was like, who the fuck would ever? But like, people love to role play, so I didn't know if someone would like do, like, a chef or whatever. But I was like, who is gonna
Are the
choose
benefits
that?
good enough?
I don't care.
Yeah, I feel
I'm
like
just
it's
like,
probably
really?
more of a role play thing. But I mean, there is a whole research tree based on it, but
Yeah.
even like the best food you can make, you only get what, 20, 30 HP. So it's not like it's a great alternative to stim pack or med packs.
And
Yeah, that's probably 6 or 7 characters from now.
when they add survival
Yeah.
mode, then that might be worth it, because then you'll have to be cooking and eating and sleeping and taking care of diseases and all that sort of stuff, and temperature fluctuations and yada yada yada. So when they add survival mode, then sure, I can see the culinary aspect being important. But I just saw that as one of the traits. I'm like, really?
Yeah,
I've heard the
eventually
gourmets in
I'll
this
get
system.
around to doing a beast hunter, and so that's in that one.
Mhm.
Love the Beast Hunter.
So yeah, not the best track most likely, but I mean a number of the tracks, number of the traits, number of the skills are a little bit more role play. But it's funny because I feel like the game is so deep that much like Fallout, as we go through, we'll find more uses for some of the skills. And oh wait, this is actually mega powerful. Like, maybe not like cranberry relish levels of powerful, but we might find powerful food combinations and activities.
And
Yeah,
you mentioned
maybe
sleeping.
you can cook something from your 300 XP spiders.
Right, here you go. I've got your Beastmaster drop.
Not only can you tame them, but you can also ride them.
In an age when nature and magic rule the world, there is an extraordinary legend. The story of a warrior who communicates with animals, who fights sorcery and the unnatural. His name is
Ray.
last of his tribe. He is also called Beastmaster.
Now I'm gonna have to get on that sooner than later.
I have no idea why I made that. What were you doing that I made that 4 years ago
even
or
know.
whatever?
It was within the last year, but I don't know. God, that was a funny drop. But you have no idea how much I loved that show as a kid, though. That movie, it was a great.
Yeah. I vaguely remember. God, that's been so long since I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, probably had to do with No Man's Sky.
Oh,
'Cause that's what
definitely. It
that- that's
definitely
what that,
did. Yes.
Yeah, that first part of the drop was from No Man's Sky.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I cut
So,
you guys
we
off.
were talking Starfield. I know we got way off track here, shipbuilding and this and that. But,
That's weird. Us get off track.
but honestly, Steve, 111 hours or something so far. That's a lot of Starfield. Any highlights from your adventure you want to talk about? Like any awesome moments that you really enjoyed, or overall feelings on the game?
Yeah, I think I'm level 40 something now, and I've just been putting points in the very far left and the very far right. So the very far left, like into all these health benefits, because of course I said I'm gonna get the running perk first.
Right.
So I took a dive right to that fitness, and I put it in there and learned to level that up quickly so that I could run more, run. And so then I just kept putting in more points in there. Like, I got some health regen and the Phoenix one, which kind of gives you.
Did you get gymnastics?
I
'Cause that
didn't
one-
add gymnastics.
That's the one that you level up by falling and hurting yourself.
I didn't add that one. And then I've been going in the tech tree for ships, for flying ships, taking targeting and
that's a big one.
shields and because I took wanted as a trait. That's right. And so I constantly have these like guys coming to claim their bounty on me.
Right?
Is it constantly? Because I heard people took one that it wasn't that bad every couple hours, maybe, or is it a lot?
It was at the
Well,
beginning.
I get the ship ones a lot.
Yeah. I
Hardly.
don't-
I think I've only had it one time where it's the guys on the ground, but the ship has happened so many times that there's a next level.
A next
Oh.
level?
Wow, you
So-
get guys on the ground? I've had a couple different levels in the sky. I don't think I've ever gotten guys on the ground.
Yeah, I've only had that once. Now, so the bounty guys in the sky, they'll actually be other bounty hunters that will fight them for you because they want your bounty to, because your bounty goes up constantly, and so you become a bigger and bigger, target, and so they're waiting for it to get up high enough that then you'll be worth their while to kill.
Oh, I think I have seen that situation once before. You know, the way I play is I do a lot of um, running, but also like when I'm traveling, I actually get in the ship, I go to the sit down, and then I
Mhm.
take off and I go into
Me
the
too.
sky, and then I pick my direction, and then I go to it. And I don't, because I know like from the ground you can fast travel between planets
If you've been to
sometimes,
two,
right?
right? If you've
If
if
you've
you've
been
been to
to
a
two places
place,
if you
you
want
can
and you're
get right
within
there.
range. Yeah,
Mhm.
but I like the whole experience traveling, so I get a lot of those procedurally generated
Mhm.
events that happen when I pop into a system.
They're
Yeah, those are
hilarious.
great. Some of them
Yeah,
are really wonderful, and some of them are mysterious. Like, yeah, I've definitely got more of those recently. It also it makes space feel bigger. People who talk about the game feeling too small, but that like if you actually go to space and you're orbiting the planet, and then you open up the map and navigate the systems, it feels more like you're in space.
exactly. And so I think maybe I was, because I do that so often, I do get those wanted bounties popping
Yeah.
up on me.
Mhm.
Which I usually just pay them off, actually,
Oh
because
gosh.
I was at the beginning because I wasn't doing any crafting or outposts or anything. I was just running and gunning with whatever I found on the run, you know? So I was just kind of like, I just had the frontier. I couldn't fight anything, and I didn't have any tech skills, and so for a long time, that's what I'm working on now. Um, So I was paying off the bounties, but yeah, now I think now I just got my ship building up so I can take on some of those bounty guys and fight them.
Yeah.
But
And so my number one tip: once you reach level 8, you gain access to the PB30s without any um, without any perks. So you don't have to have anything in any of the shipbuilding, tech section, and you can put the PB30 particle beams on your ship. And with those and no other weapons, you max the power out on them, and you can smoke anything that comes in, because all the ships that come in, if you stay in, the appropriately leveled solar systems, will be completely manageable with
Mhm.
um, that setup. Even if you're not really great at dogfighting, you can manage well with those.
Have you tried the Vanguard obliterators yet? Because I really
Yeah, but
like
so
them.
number one, you have to have joined the Vanguard, and
Oh,
number
that is how you get
two,
them. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
and number two, 13,000 credits each.
Oh, yeah, they're pricey. Okay, but here's the thing that I like about them. They're only 2 power for max
Right.
power,
Yeah. So you
whereas
can put
the
more of them on
PB30s
there.
are 3 or 4, aren't they?
They're 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can have 4 PB30s, and you can have 6 obliterators.
Yep. Or just 4 obliterators, and if you want a couple ballistic on the side too, just helps with lower power.
But
But
those are amazingly fast firing.
yeah,
But yeah, it costs an absolute crap ton. I think
yeah,
the PB30s are like 3 or 4,000 each, and these are 13,000
yeah.
each.
They're really pricey. I've been using a lot of Vanguard equipment. I thought it might be because I was in the Vanguard, but I didn't realize that was
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
what unlocked it.
Once you're officially in the Vanguard, it unlocks those parts. They also have those cool shields that are just that really low profile
Yeah,
dome.
except for that Vanguard Bulwark one or whatever that costs like
Well.
12 power. Eventually, I'll be able to use that though. Let me tell you, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I joined the Vanguard right away. on this character because that's very much her. So I didn't even do shipbuilding before I had that, so I didn't realize it was
Yeah,
locked.
that's locked behind it.
Now the
I'm doing a
PB
Vanguard
100s.
storyline right now. It's
Oh,
really
cool.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little over halfway through it. So is Marigold's. We're really enjoying it. PB 100s, have you tried them, right? That's the upgrade to the PB 30.
Yeah, they unlock at a much higher level.
Okay.
And there was actually something better that came up when I finally got to the point that I could build those.
So you're basically saying just starting ship, whatever level, PB 30s are easy to get. no
Well, once you
requirements.
have to get to level 8.
Level 8.
Once
Okay.
you're at level 8, then you're good to go. And those will carry you for a long way. You'll eventually want to add a bigger reactor so you've got more power to distribute. But yeah, the PB30s are nice. If you can fully power them, then you can never run out of juice. I mean,
That's impressive.
They constantly fire and they instantly recharge. So before you can fire the next shot, they've already recharged.
I'm sure Andrew will tell us all about how well they worked on his ship when we get to his feedback.
So
It's a piece of cake. I don't know what you guys are all confused about.
I'm pretty sure I put the PV30s on my ship. I
Yeah.
put like
Sweet.
4 of them.
Yeah.
So I could concentrate 4 of them.
Yeah. And those are the ones that Barrett helps out with. Like keep in mind your crew accentuates your weapons or different skills on the ship. So if you have the skill yourself, that's fine. But
Yeah.
otherwise, when you assign crew to your ship, it'll highlight in white the powers that are affecting. And so, like, for instance, if you want energy weapons, I'm pretty sure lasers, energy weapons, I'm pretty sure that Andrasia has that. Barrett has disruptors, but he also has starship engineering. Those two together are awesome because it helps repairs and damage. Barrett you need to have him.
Yeah.
Vasco is shields. Astrodynamics or whatever it's called is what Sarah has to help with your grab jumps to go further. Like they all have applicable skills for ships pretty much. And the people you hire can too, but the main companions of the game tend to have 4 skills, whereas a lot of your hirelings only have 3.
Yeah.
Where can
And
I get
it's
a
nice because when you pick up Barrett, you can also get Lynn and Heller and put them in your base.
Yeah.
Assign them there.
They're great
And
for outposts.
they're both outpost centered peeps.
where
sorry,
can I
Steve.
get a Wookiee or a Porg or a Baby Yoda? Where can I
Right.
get
Right.
little
We want more of those. Well,
co-pilot?
Ray hinted at that. Okay, that pets. So can you get pets in
Pets.
Starfield? Not really. But if you start investing in the zoology park, you got zoology and whatever the plant one is.
Biology.
Biology, that makes sense. So you can start growing greenhouse habs and you can have animal husbandry and do animal habs. And that will allow you, once you fully
Nice.
fully scanned an animal, to be able to raise them in your settlement. And they're docile. Even the aggressive ones become more docile.
Can you crossbreed and stuff and create new weird animals and such?
No,
Okay.
No.
that's some different game and probably mods before too long.
No, yeah, definitely. Well, I remember Ray was talking about some egg incubator in No Man's Sky that you could, I think, create new weird animals, if I remember.
Yeah,
right.
you can put different materials in and affect different parts. They can come out just completely different than the one you put in, but or you can have the same with just different colors or different temperament. If they're particularly cranky pets, you can genetically modify them to be friendlier.
As a callback, I just always picture Pokemon Go. When you hatch a new egg in Pokemon Go and it goes, oh, and if you play Pokemon Go, you'll understand.
Steve, another ship question for you here, sir. Everyone's picking their favorite pop culture reference ship from sci-fi. Have you attempted to build one that looks like something else?
I have not. You
Yeah.
know, I love all the different reference. You know what I haven't seen yet? I haven't seen a TIE fighter yet.
No
Anybody
way,
built
really?
a TIE fighter out there? I haven't seen one.
Yeah, I saw
No,
the Millennium
X-Wings,
Falcon.
Y-Wings.
I saw a couple of different Millennium Falcons, of
That'd be
course.
cool.
Mhm.
Yeah,
TIE Fighter,
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be neat.
Okay,
Um,
we'll do
I-
a TIE fighter for you, right? We'll do one. We'll try one.
Well,
you know what? I went and looked. I went and I Googled this, and I couldn't find a whole lot of information. I honestly didn't spend too long. But I went to go look up what the spaceship from the Far Out Space Nuts looked like. That show, that Hanna-Barbera show with
Yeah.
Bob Denver. You know, the
Yes,
guy who played
yes.
Gilligan, and he and another guy were janitors, and they accidentally got sent into space, and then they were like lost, and they couldn't get back. That was great. Far Out Space Nuts. I really wanted to do like a recreation of their rocket, but I couldn't really find a good representation.
That's
so.
a very narrow path of pop culture. People who would get the Far Out Space Nuts. That'd be great.
Yeah, I've
There
never heard
there
of
are
it.
like 3.5 people out there going, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Steve for the win. Yeah, very fun. Jess, you bringing back United Spacelanders for a shipbuilding exposition show type thing?
Yeah, no, you Spacelanders isn't happening, like we had talked about. But I
No.
am still retweeting a lot of spaceship builds now, as well as camp builds over on that account.
I was thinking about it, but it was just like, it's the multiplayer aspect of Fallout 76 that makes it so easy to do tours and stuff, and you can't really do that as easily, and you can't visit someone else. You can go watch their Twitch or whatever, but you can't show up in their ship and sit co-pilot with them or anything. So yeah, there's that multiplayer aspect that it's missing to add that extra dimension that made you Wastelanders so accessible, right?
Right, being able to tour with the actual owner and talk about their process and look at everything. Yeah, that was what made it really special. And I mean, you can do it in No Man's Sky technically, somewhat, and Animal Crossing if you want to visit their island, stuff like that. Like there are
That'd
other
be
things you
great.
can do it with, but not games that I play so much.
Right on. Steve, any other gameplay stuff you want to mention, sir?
Not specifically for me, but just I've just been loving it. Can't stop playing it. So
Can't
You know,
stop, won't stop,
good
don't
times.
stop, Steve.
mm.
All right, Ray, did you get a chance to play any video games this week, sir?
I did. Outside of the Fallout 4 quests, it was only Starfield.
Well, kudos for finishing the Fallout 4 quest, because you wrote of a journey of console commanding and all sorts of crazy shit that you had to
Yeah,
get to
I'll
the
definitely
end
get
there.
into that when we get to the gameplay, because
Yeah.
it's integral to it.
So just
it was.
was it all shipbuilding
it
in
was
Starfield, or did you create
aggravating.
two or three more new characters, or what were you doing over there?
Gosh, was it 2 or 3?
That was a
Um,
joke, and you're serious?
Yeah.
Good lord, you have an issue, sir.
So I didn't have a character that had parents. So I had to check that whole thing out. So I did that.
What does that even mean? What are you talking about?
Kid stuff, the
Okay,
trait.
that perk. Yes, all right, right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And I hadn't tried Dream Home, which is now in foreclosure.
Oh yeah, I have a
Whoops.
friend who's like they're so upset they lost their house, they haven't gotten it back, and
Oh,
that happened to
really?
you too, huh? Especially like if you do get in it for a little bit, you start storing stuff there, and then the doors get locked on you. It's just not right.
Yeah, it's kind of a strange, it's a beautiful home, very lovely planet. Looks fantastic, nice patio. Of course, since you can't invite friends over, I mean, outside of, I suppose you could have, your companion running around there with you. But if you were inclined to have such things. But yeah, and then on top of it all, you have to decorate it. And so you have to have all the supplies to be able to decorate this stupid place. And it, so you have every week, when you go to your house, you have to pay 500 credits to get in. So they lock the front door on you. So, I mean, you could probably neener them and build the bed outside. If you build all this stuff outside, then then it wouldn't matter if the doors were locked or not. But yeah, so you have to pony up $500 a week to get in. And
sounds like a mortgage.
But that's an interest only. It doesn't go toward, none of it goes towards your principal.
Oh,
that's wretched and way too realistic for me. Like, I like some realism in my games, but man, that's too far.
Yeah. So I paid the first 500 to get in and look around inside and try to figure out. So I've had the apartment a couple of times for finishing the Vanguard quest line.
Okay, excellent.
But I've never built in it.
Now, are you talking about the one in the well or the one that you get
penthouse
later? Okay, good. Yep. A bit of spoilers there, but not really. People understand that it's a good way to get citizenship joining the Vanguard.
But so I've it was a little more obvious in this habitat exactly how you do building inside the home. So there's a box on the wall. And you interact with the box and it brings up a build menu. And so then you can build your furniture and your workshops and all that kind of stuff, inside your home. But for me, I would just as soon live on my ship. But that was fun. So, and the parents have been fine.
Parents just don't understand.
So to you other kids all across the land, there's no need to argue. Parents just don't understand.
Yeah, kick him out.
I've walked past this woman, so many times because I've done the starting quest, 9 times. And, I finally went over to, because she called to me, and I walked over and talked to her and found out that she's with a bounty hunting group. I'm like, okay. Need to dig into this a little bit deeper. She's super cute. So I made a bounty hunter character. And one of the ways that I use to keep track of all my characters is I've given them names that relate to to the type of character they are. And so because I'm not into the the Mandalorian world, so my bounty hunter character's name is Dog.
Oh, okay, classic. You're gonna have to get himself. You gotta have to make his ship more of a camper van.
Get it like a space bike,
big old RV.
And so he's run a couple of quests for her so far, and it's been interesting. The first quest she gives you is definitely challenging, and she's not kidding when she says you need to have a jetpack.
My backpack got jets.
Now, who is this that you got the quest from?
So there's a woman standing. So it's directly opposite the door to the broken spear.
Yeah. Okay. In Mars, I've got that one. But there are multiple.
She's leaning against the wall. So she's the first one I met.
Okay. Because I was going to say, I've met a couple near bounty boards, and I think you can probably start taking bounties with any of them, but maybe not. Because she did seem to have more to say than the others.
Yeah.
Where's the broken spear?
In Sidonia at Mars.
Yeah. Just past cool. The plastic flaps on the right. Yeah. The first right.
Yeah. And so, so that's been interesting. She's an interesting character.
Gotta say, there are some really great characters and so many side quests.
Oh yeah.
We'll get into that, but that's awesome. That's cool. You got an inspiration for another character.
Yeah. So it's So my characters are so I wanted to try a pistol build. I did that. I wanted to try a rifle build. I've done that. I wanted a shotgun build. Really liked that one. And melee weapons. So, and then I have the one that has gone through the Vanguard as the good guys, but he still hasn't gone through the pirate quests. So I still have to go through that as the good guy. But I've got the one that I went through as the bad guy. And also the Ryujin, really like that one.
It's like I haven't even signed up for them. I have a quest that says
Yeah.
go sign up, and it's like it's been in there forever. I haven't even touched that.
Yeah, so a lot of these quests, you need a character built, for that, for that quest line. It can be really hard if you don't have particular skills that fit with that quest line. So it's handy. One of the nice things about having these very specific characters is that if I try out a quest line with a character that doesn't work with it, I've got another one that will, so I can start that quest with them. So that's
I'm
it.
just
And
trying to
then
do it
just
all with one.
a lot of shipbuilding, and you can do that if they're level 200
Yeah,
and you've got every perk. Because it's depending on how you're building these, and most of these, I think my highest level character is my pirate at level 25. So
Is that a staple gun that Nino just posted in the group?
No, he's sharing one of his legendary drops he got that's really good. We're talking weapons a little bit in chat right now.
A
And,
label
there are
maker?
some great unique named weapons you get, but this one isn't. This is a Big Bang as a type of gun, and he just got a really good legendary drop on it.
It looks like the label
nice.
Baby Junior.
Yeah. So one thing I did, one of the things that prompted the shotgun build was that I had done a quest in Neon that takes you to the weapons vendor there, and he has a named shotgun that is really, really nice.
I just got one too. I'm absolutely loving it.
And so you can get that as soon as you've got 18,000 credits, which is very, very early in the game. So
This is one that you bought. You have
Yeah.
a named shotgun you bought that you really like.
yeah, you buy it from him in Neon. You haven't been there, so you haven't seen it.
No, I haven't. There's a lot of places I haven't been yet, which is ridiculous, but it's how I play. So
But I think it's
ton
called
of places I've been.
I think it's called Bam Bam. Something like
That's
that.
cool.
But yeah, that's a brilliant gun for anybody that wants to do shotgun build, because you can get it anytime. And then later on, when similar shotguns start dropping as loot, which is a much higher level, then you can get some legendary versions.
So I just got a legendary shotgun. I forget the name of it. It's a version of the rapid shot, but it's a legendary. It's yellow, gold, whatever, with the on the rapid shot, and it is just amazing. But I'm wondering if it's named or just a legendary drop. I'd actually have to pull up my character to remember. I do have a
if
named
it's-
rifle and using this.
If it's a gold gun, then it's just a regular version with the legendary perks on it. So, and named weapons aren't necessarily legendary.
Right. Some of them, yeah, some of the named have been pretty much the equivalent of, blue or purple,
Yeah.
but even blue. But sometimes a good boost with the right mods when it comes to it, because early in the game you can't mod your weapons that much. You have to really start
Right.
leveling skills to be able to mod weapons and spacesuits. So sometimes having a really good mod attached, like something early like white hot or armor piercing rounds or something, can make a huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah, and because I usually get all the weapons I ever need from, killing hordes of enemies, um, I haven't played with the modding workshop stuff. But this bounty hunter character, that's one of the skills that I'm targeting are those tech skills that suit design and weapon design, because I want to see um, what good comes of that. If it's really worth, investing in those trees.
You got to
mean,
save the
I-
trees, Ray. It's always worth investing in the trees.
I think it's been pretty worth investing in the weapon trees. My weapons have become a lot more effective. That's something I've been focusing on. I getting the levels of research, and finally, I'm getting to the point where I can open up the weapon engineering, I believe it's called. And so, getting like some of the level 3 mods on the workshop tree can be really nice. They make a big difference.
Yeah.
But I don't have it on spacesuits yet. Don't have any spacesuit engineering or design.
Yeah. But the only thing is that I typically, once I get to the lodge, I go downstairs, and you can almost always, with the either the stuff that came in your ship or junk that you collected along the way, you can build an oxygen tank
Yeah.
for your spacesuit, and it'll bump up your oxygen level.
Anything to help your O2 refresh is really good.
Yeah.
It's just a quick tip for crafting, which
Really?
you might already know. But in order to unlock things for crafting in this, it's about the skills, but it's also about that research bench. So remember, after you put a point in a skill, to go to the research bench and take a neuroamp. Either put on your lab suit if you have a lab suit, or take neuroamp or another drug that will reduce the cost of materials to research, but also enable sudden developments. So
Right.
what a sudden development is when you're crafting and you get overflow into another item that's required. Like say you need, 10 titanium, 10 gimbals, and 5 Whoozy Whatsits. You might, crafting your gimbals, putting those in, get a sudden development and fill all of your Whoozy Whatsits with a sudden development. So something that increases your chance of getting those is really helpful, because I've found that I can get a point in a skill, go to a research thing, and just complete all of them. Like complete every research project available for the new skill I just got. If I focus on what I have a lot of and, take something to hope for those sudden developments, I only spend up half the resources it expects you to.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't really gotten into it too much. I've never gone beyond the first level of research, so I'll look forward to that. I'm not very deep into this character, so
Ray, you done
I've
a
only run a couple of bounties and a couple of Galbank collections.
Ray? Have you done
Nice.
a doctor character yet? Medical person of any sort?
No, not medical. I've done science,
Mm-hmm.
but and ranking up the scanner perk is really nice, but it's still really boring running around a planet scanning everything. So
Yeah.
that guy's kind of been quiet.
I've always got some sort of disease or ill effect going on, and it's always one that I don't have the color coded remedy for in the menu. Or do you guys like craft a lot of like medicines, or are you just finding plenty enough to take care of all of your ill effects or anything? Or is there a doctor in the city that you can go to and he has plenty of medicine on hand and will cure you, sort of like in Fallout 4? Does that happen anywhere?
There's a clinic that you can get stuff
There is a
from.
clinic. Can you put a little clinic on your ship or something? Or is there a medical station where you can build?
You can build an infirmary,
Okay.
but I don't know what it does.
All right. Well, maybe that's something I need to look into, because I'm tired of constantly being sick all the time. Space sick.
Oh, yeah, no, don't get those sicknesses. I mean, hopefully you can resist them in your suits and get back somewhere before you get one. But like frostbite, or some of them will heal naturally. And I get
Yeah.
plenty of medicines, but I also play slow as we were discussing. So I'm actually occasionally selling some because I've got, like 8 heat treatments and like 9 burn packs and 7 injectors. And, I've got way too much of that stuff.
I don't know what those words mean. You got to say purple, yellow, red, blue.
Yeah.
Give me some perps and a couple of blues. I'll take a couple of yellows. Sounds like we're buying drugs in the 70s. I'll take a couple of yellows, a couple perps.
Yellow jackets, yeah, perps. It's funny. I like the med packs and the trauma packs, but I keep all the other stuff, and I do read the descriptions, but I don't know what they do. And whenever I get a disease, I'm like, or an ill effect, I'm like, okay, it says this. You go open menu, you press Y to check your status, and just go to your traits, and you scroll down till you see one, and then you take it.
Yeah, that's what I do too, but I never have the one that I'm sick with. If like I got plenty of blues, then it's always a purple. If I got, a yellow triangle, there's, not to be found in my inventory.
Probably only had 5 or 6 total in my playtime so far.
Really?
Yeah.
What am I doing? I must be running around without my spacesuit too much or something.
Oh yeah, always never take your suit off. Never ever ever take your suit off.
Yeah.
Is there a like an addictol type drug that takes away your addiction? Because there's one that takes it away for 10 minutes.
Yeah, like Fixer. No, there's a real one. There's Addictol and Fixer equivalents. What's the one that does it for real? Ray, I only have
anyways, my
2
guy's
of them,
been running around with an addiction for a while.
I don't know. I've never been addicted to anything in the game.
I haven't yet, but I'm getting worried because I do jack the chem sometimes for a fight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. See, I never do.
Yeah, I mean, Battle Stim is a great one. Sometimes Heart Plus or Amp if you're just running around, because if you can run faster, jump higher, $6 million man. It's really useful.
So one thing I'm collecting a lot of med packs, because one of the things I discovered is, the enemies can be in the next room, and you can lay down on a cot and take a nap.
You just gotta hope they don't need a pee break or something and wander in. Yeah.
I mean, they have to be. The only time I've actually had it say that you can't sleep because the enemies are near is when they're in the room directly above
you. You cannot take a pee break when enemies are nearby.
But otherwise, you can sleep almost any time in this game.
I did notice that.
I
slept in the next room over here.
A facility to clear out the pirates or the whoever, and so I'll kill a couple, get a little hurt, go lay down, sleep it off, get up, go kill a few more, go back, sleep, kill a few more.
Will sleeping cure illnesses and ill effect, or is that just health recovery for sleep?
I don't know. I don't get diseases that much.
So
I never stay outside very long.
Okay.
Just however long it takes to run from my ship to the inside of the building that I'm going to clear out.
Is there a perk like Steve likes junkie stuff from Fallout 4 where you get as many addictions as you can? Steve, can you lean into it? Is there one of those in Starfield where you just see how many things you can get addicted to and that'll enhance some aspect of the game?
Not that I know of. That sounds pretty cool. I mean, stay in school. Don't do drugs, kids.
Getting 5 addictions sounds pretty great, everybody.
Right. But no, I haven't run across anything like that.
Well, just pop a bunch of perps and you'll find out.
It's the junk flush. It's called junk flush that you use to clean your
junk
system.
flush. Okay, awesome.
So if you see it for sale or on a table somewhere, make sure to grab it. So anyway, Ray, sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Dude, the whole idea is to stimulate conversation. And so then the only other thing I've been doing, is shipbuilding.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely spending a lot of time on shipbuilding.
Your new flatbed trucker ship. I mean, you've done some really cool ones.
So that's my ocean liner.
I thought it was an air carrier at first. Like you could put other ships on top of it. It's so big.
Yeah. And so that one, I named it the Merrick Essex, which is an actual freight ship owned by the Merrick Line.
Cool.
So, but after I started putting cargo boxes on it, I recognized that I did it wrong. So there's 3 different cargo boxes, and I need to make a combination of all 3 of them because cargo ships never have the same colored cargo boxes on them. You know, it's always a big variety and they're mismatched. So I've got to go through and mix them up a little bit so that it looks more authentic. But
Sounds really cool.
yeah, the other downside is that so you know you can have a ship with really low mobility, as long as you
You're
can
not dogfighting.
you can unlock turrets, automatic
Okay.
turrets.
Which
Um,
ones are automatic, by the way? Do you need to get the skill and the skill tree way down to get them? Or how do you get automatic turrets? Because
I haven't
I've
gotten
done
that far
auto
yet.
weapons, but they just shoot faster. Like auto weapons
Right.
just have a faster fire rate.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what level that you have to get to unlock them. I'm guessing it's probably about the same level that you unlock the you know the cargo boxes that hold 1,400 pounds.
Oh, like all the things you want. Wow, 1,400 is a lot. That is a
Yeah.
lot.
And you can put a lot of them on there too.
What's the mass on those puppies?
I
I think
don't
it's 200 or something.
I can't
300?
remember because I've only seen them listed, and so I don't remember. I haven't actually put them on, but I know that you can get a lot of them on a ship before you can't
Sweet.
take off anymore.
That's a lot of cheese sandwiches, Ray.
Yeah, it is. But so that one's a work in progress. I'm going to have to find an XP grind that I can do with that character because he's got no combat skills at all.
Spider Farm.
So yeah, but so to build the spider farm, you have to unlock some of the different science skills.
Mhm.
So you've got to have the zoology. You've got to have the one that lets you unlock habitats. You also have to have the skill that lets you build on dangerous planets.
Oh, right. Yeah, the extreme atmospheres or extreme
Yeah.
conditions. Mhm.
Because these particular spiders live in on an extreme planet.
That makes sense. Yeah, I think I only need first level to do that, though.
Yeah. But anyway, it's it's fun having a lot of different characters. I never get bored because I'm able to jump from one to the other and do different things with each one of them. So, short of the completing the constellation quest line, I think I have completed everything else that's available. So I still have to do the SysDef where I go against the pirates, but
Mhm.
but otherwise I've finished the game.
Fantastic. Hey, I mean, if camp building is the end game in 76, shipbuilding can be the end game in Starfield.
Yeah.
Sweet. Any other
Yeah.
gameplay stuff you want to mention there, Ray?
No, that's been about it.
Sweet. Last week after the show, Ray and Jess said, "Oh yeah, we had a little powwow after the show." We spoke for longer than the show was last week.
Yeah, we were on for another hour together after the show.
Yeah, and they were giving me a tutorial on all this shipbuilding stuff, so I was like, "Oh, this will be a piece of cake."
Even booted up the Xbox to kind of log in, share a screen and stuff like that so we could go over together.
Yeah, it was a good time. Jess, did you have any time to play any video games this week?
I sure did. Oh my goodness. So yeah, we're about an hour into the show. So I played some Fallout this week.
Nice, someone did at least.
In Fallout 76. I had to do my weekly check-in. I'm still, not playing as much as I had been, and taking time off for Starfield in particular. But I did check into the scoreboard. I'm up to the mid 40s, maybe even high 40s now. I had to see what's going on. Just really, I have been doing the classic thing of logging in once a week to get all your weeklies and dailies, except lately, the last 3 4 weeks, the last 3 weeks since Starfield came out, I have logged in, do that, and then within an hour, I've been like, yeah, no, I'm fine, and didn't actually get them all. Because you log in, you get distracted. At least I do, so I don't really focus on banging out the dailies as much. But got in there, and so the scoreboard is moving along. We got plenty of time on that still. I did want to mention in the Atomic Shop, one reason I logged in was because Palace of the Winding Path bundle for my builders out there, or people who have always just wanted a really kind of fancy get that air to their camp. There's a Palace of the Winding Path kit. So you get the walls, the cool roofs, everything tiered there, some of the trellis work, special posts and lights. You can't completely build the palace from scratch. Like there's not everything you would have there, but there's a lot of things where you could build like the outbuildings and stuff. So really pretty. If you're someone who likes to build occasionally, I recommend picking that up. There's also a really cool little prefab. I believe it's called the Mud Hut. And I know that sounds bad, but it's actually one of the cutest prefabs I've had in a while. It's like a little castle kind of hut shed kind of thing.
It's very cool. I didn't get the whole package, but I went in and got that specific item out of the bundle because it looks really nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that one actually came out last week, but I picked it up this week along with the whole Palace bundle and such. So I just wanted to mention those. Still stuff in the Atom Shop, as always. They took a week or two off, but we got some great stuff happening there. So that was my Fallout 76 play. Just the basics. I'm still not level 300 after all these years. Getting closer. I'm at like 270.
Too much
Next
building.
double XP, maybe. Yeah. You don't get enough XP for building. You get nowhere near enough XP for photo mode. They should get on that. I mean, every time I click, take a picture, give me 5 XP. They'll be like, well, people just stand there and click their camera button. Okay.
So-
Give me 5 XP after I've been,
Make it a time thing. Yeah.
framing. Yeah, after I've been framing something for 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, because I do that for so many shots.
Well, they're starting to give you score for taking photo mode snapshots these days.
Sort of.
So,
yeah, as they got on challenges. That's
Yeah.
absolutely right. Yeah. It's funny though, because my score photos, the way that it incentivizes you, it's like build stuff in your camp, build 25 somethings. I don't build good stuff in my camp for that challenge usually.
No.
I just stack things up like everybody else.
Yep,
I mean,
that's a
every
stack
once
of
in a while, but
25 sleeping bags right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
25 buns, make a bun stack. Or when it comes to taking photos, I like basically just wherever I am, like hop to my camp, like take a stupid photo that I end up deleting right away. I mean, every once in a while, but no, they're not natural. The thing about challenges is they say, oh, it just falls into your natural gameplay. Maybe. But if it sits on the list, I want to check it off,
I used to always go take a workshop so that I could build stuff for like cheap.
Right.
Right.
And that was
so I'm
fun.
not using any of my own resources. I'm just using the workshop resources.
hmm
And then
And
I
you get an
dump,
event that
you
way
know,
too. You get an event, you get a bunch of things
10
happening.
street lamps and, 5 building bases.
I would say like a year ago, especially when that was a challenge almost every day that you would regularly log in, and a lot of the more popular workshops, you'd just go there and you'd see like it was basically like a fun little yard sale where there'd be 10
Yeah.
of one item, 10 of another, as though 4 or 5 people in succession had taken it, built stuff, hopped off, or they got on with their day, and someone else came over, built stuff. Always cracks me up. But that's my Fallout 76 check-in. Fallout 4 check-in. I did do some of the quests. I didn't quite finish our quest for this week. Well, we'll talk when we get there, but I did some of the quests for sure. That was a fun challenge, and I kind of relished it. I'll admit. I thought I'd hate it, but I made a hard save. I used the mod to get a hard save before I did this, so I can go back and maybe not piss off Preston, so I can finish the game. But yeah, I'm going for it. So I dove in, and that's been fun. And then, of course, we've talked a lot of it already, but I've been playing plenty of Starfield. In fact, I kind of can't stop playing. I really am addicted. I mean, it's in our personality. Like, we love these games anyway. There's a reason why we do shows about them. And our whole group, there's a reason why we all love Bethesda games. But yeah, it's got me just as much, Steve. It's funny, my main save just hit the 5-day mark. So that's like 120 some hours. And actual in the game it says I've done more than that, but some of that's been menu time and pause. But my yeah, like probably 125 hours. I'm only level 27 because of the way I play. But I'm getting there. I did get the achievement for 20 systems. I explored 20 systems the other day. I got the achievement I just got it yesterday, for connecting cargo lifts between enough settlements. It's funny, on Xbox, only like 0.26% of people have got that achievement. I'm like, I got to get it. I got to get it. I've got some resources achievement stuff. So yeah, it's coming along. Really enjoying it. My actual quest log, I think right now it shows 31 quests and 49 activities, which I think I was joking last week about where it was at. So yeah, I've pretty much doubled that. It was at like, maybe like 18 or 20 and then 29. So now it's like 31 quests and I believe 49 activities. And like then you look at the list and it's like 4 main quests and 7 Vanguard quests now. I've got 7 Vanguard quests down. And then all the rest are just side quests, because side quests in this game, they are plentiful and they are awesome.
Yeah, they are great.
There are so many. You never know when you're going to stumble on them. Like, you're talking about some of the random things that pop up when you're jumping systems. I do enjoy that. I ran into a mysterious captain, which I'm suspicious of who that was. I ran into like a mysterious ship the other day. I did a kindergarten class early this week. That was an odd one because, okay, so we've talked about like the tours and stuff. Have any of you run into the kindergarten class yet?
No, not the kindergarten class.
Yes.
Okay. And so they are in a ship that's relatively, I won't tell you the whole story, but essentially,
wait,
their
yes, I
ship
have.
has some trouble. Okay. And then you get to hear from the kids, get to hear from the teacher, but they will need repairs. Well, I'm figuring I can help. And then she's like, we need 10 ship parts. I'm like, 10 ship parts? Who travels with 10 ship parts? But luckily I was able to go to the planet, craft some stuff, buy some stuff, come back, and she hadn't left. So
Yeah. When I went back, they were gone. So
really,
Yeah.
I don't think I left.
Oh,
the
you
system.
guys went back.
Oh, of course. I was going to strand her. I was going to try. That's funny, Steve. Yeah, I think how did I get the oh, I know how I got the ship part. So I had 7 on me, which is more than usual because I usually go with 5, but I had 7 because I looted some ships just the other day. Well, in the same system, I didn't leave the system, which is why she was still there. There was a ship. You know how some systems, you look at the different planets, may have a ship in orbit. I'm like, I'll go check this ship out. So I did. It was a derelict UC mule with won't tell the story, but there were some dead people on there. And of course, whenever you invade a ship, this one was not stealable. Like, a lot of times they're not stealable if they're floating in space. I did not kill them. I did not. I did not splatter their brains across the console. So brains. I didn't splatter those either. But so that was a neat one. But always check the captain's stash and the cargo hold. You know how you have them on your ship? They have them on ships you claim too. And if you're gonna take a ship, even if you can't like steal it, that captain's stash is full of good loot. So always grab it. But they had ship parts, so I was able to get them and get back to the teacher. But just a lot of fun stuff. I ran into the Valentine, the guy out there singing shanties. That was awesome. That's a fun one. So many. It's hard to add them all up. Also, some have been related to quests I've done. So actually, before I get into side quests, and I'm just going to hit those briefly, I do have a tip for running. So Steve, you're talking about speccing into running and health, and Ray, you're talking about the extra oxygen. So my tip for running is there are different powers in the game. If you get a power that will give you oxygen supply when you're in a bad environment. So there's a power that you can get of your Jedi powers that will allow you to breathe in bad environments. Well, it also clears the red on your oxygen meter. So if you're sprinting and have that power mounted, you can use it mid-sprint and never stop sprinting. And if you're super over cucumbered, just walking regular speed, but it turns you red, keep clicking that. You get immune to more red for about 10 seconds, and it'll clear it right out on you. And it's an awesome thing to use. So
Yeah.
You know
Just
what?
don't do that until you've maxed out your fitness perk. Because in order to level the fitness perk, you have to run out of oxygen.
I've only got one in fitness, but I think I've passed the challenge to get the next level. I just haven't done it.
Yeah.
There's
I've
so
ran
many more
around my
skills.
ship a bunch of times to run it down just to level it up.
Yeah, I run inside my cargo bay. So you just run into the wall.
Put a
Yeah.
treadmill,
You
put
can
a
just
treadmill
run
in
there.
the
Oh, that's
cargo
great.
bay.
That's like the classic Oblivion, sneaking against the wall to level up your sneak.
Or
That's hilarious.
what was the one where you just jumped wherever you went to increase your acrobatics or whatever?
Yeah, acrobatics.
Yep, Skyrim and Oblivion there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one. Speaking of skills, I just got my level C pilot license. I'm piloting, just hit level 4. But I got a lot of those ships naturally. Like I did do the simulator to get to my B tier in the first place. But then I did all 30 in B tier to get to C, just out and around, because I ran into enough ship battles. And also, if you do start hopping systems, like I said, I explored to get to a full 20 systems. And I fully scanned one, like you were talking about the other day, Ray. I might even fully scan 2 or 3. Not fully scanned planets. I've done a few of those now. Some of them are easy. I've scanned a few tough ones, but just hopping planet to planet, checking each one, getting into random battles, it is a good way to get XP for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's especially good because there are 2 different battles that you can happen upon. One is with the Freestar Collective, and the other one is with the UC Navy, where they are fighting with either Varun Zealots or Crimson Fleet, and so you can jump in on the battle, and you don't have to do that much. You just have to make sure that
Don't
at least
hit them.
one of them survives.
Well, all of them preferably, but yes.
But in order to complete this challenger,
All you do is one.
You have to have at least one that survives, because they will pay you 1,300 credits for helping them out.
So I've never asked for credits from that. I've helped out UC Navy a bunch of times and Freestar a few times. I did have one time where I accidentally hit Freestar when I jumped in, and oh man, everybody on the ship got mad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay,
Ooh.
fine, reload the save from the jump, no big deal.
Yeah. All the companions get very upset.
Because I couldn't even see. Like I have to admit, the one thing I don't have down on ship combat now, because my ship is pretty great, and I like the upgrades and how I'm flying it. The targeting, I'm not great at. Switching to targeting mode, I understand how to use thrusters side to side now. That took a little bit, hit the right bumper and then you can move side to side. I understand how to engage targeting when you have that skill, although I'm not good at watching it enough to select. I tend to be a little bit panicked. But when you first log in and they're far away, if you start shooting from a distance,
The world looks blue and green.
it's really hard to tell who you're hitting.
Yeah.
That's how I got in
and so
trouble.
you can scan them.
Mhm.
So if you hit scan when you're there, when it will give you all the details about the ship. And so you can see, if you hit scan, the one that comes up on the screen is the one that you're currently targeting. And
Right.
so you can make sure that it's not the wrong one.
Yeah, I'm learning to do that. This is the only time it's happened, one out of how many 20, 30 space battles I've done.
And you just reload the save.
And that's where I'm learning, like, not to. But if I was doing it regular, I probably wouldn't do the save. I'd live with my mistake. But I didn't even know at first, like, how to figure it out. But you get a lot of stuff there. So
so
what else
they'll
have I
give you
done?
ship parts,
Mhm.
or you can get 1,300 credits,
Yep.
or you can
Or
just say,
salvage rights,
I'll just do the salvage.
which is all I've done so far. You can also say I'll take nothing, and then they're like, "How noble of you!" And then they just kind of move on, and you can still grab the salvage if you want. So I've done that a couple times, and I'm like,
and
"Why
if
do
you
I
take
do this?
this-
What is wrong with me?" But I do.
Yeah, if you take the credit, you can get the salvage too.
Yeah, see, you can always get salvage. Like you don't even need to ask for it. You can just take it.
And if all of their ships didn't survive,
You can salvage theirs
you
too.
can
Those
salvage
as
them
well.
too.
You're a
I mean-
scavenger out there.
Just talking about salvage.
Well, you got to do what you got to do. You living to survive.
Watch your mouth.
But so what I really did the past week, because once again, going slow, but this past week has been focused very much on Vanguard and Mars, because I had started the Vanguard before, but only done the first quest or two. And I had, been by Mars for the main quest, but I hadn't gone back.
Now, this is the plan. Get your ass to Mars.
So past week, I went to Mars and I did so much there. So on the Vanguard quest line, if you decide to pursue that way to find a certain doctor, there's a huge long quest line you can do there to do that, and it's awesome, really awesome. Some exploration discovery, greasing palms, but there's also one called I believe like Hard Luck Blues is where it starts, or Hard something Blues.
I think that's
It's a
a New
quest-
Vegas DLC, isn't it?
Close, yeah. That's Old World Blues.
Oh,
But you can it starts with the minor foreman there, and you might be suspicious of his motives, but his motives are good. And it's a chain of 3 quests, and you end up working as somebody's assistant. You're doing undercover stuff briefly. There's some fighting. It's a great quest line. So there's so much you can do on Mars, and little things there like Space Frog. I won't tell you about Space Frog, but you'll love Space Frog.
Or get the books for the kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody has quests. Like there's so many there that are great, and some things that might even pay off later. So Mars, I did a good 8 to 12 hours at least.
And if you've got good persuade, you can get. I think he pays you 3,200 credits per book.
damn.
Really?
Yeah. So he'll give you. I think there's 30 different books in this series that he's loving. He'll give you like 1,200 credits or something like that, as a general offer. But if you persuade him, you get I think it's either 32 or 3,500 credits.
That's 9,600 credits for their whole series.
Per
Yeah.
book.
Cow.
Super pricey. Wow.
And it's
That's
all
That's a
basic
nice ship right
location
there.
that you go to. You fly into the system, you land at the regular cities that you land at, and you go to the trade authority.
Mhm. And you can buy some of them probably.
and buy the book. It's like 90 credits for the book or something like that, and then you take it back to the kid in Mars, and he pays you.
Where's a kid to get that kind of credits, man?
I know. And he lives in a really sketchy apartment too.
Yeah.
Something ain't adding
Wait.
up there.
Is that the one he and his mother are, they have housing assistance and can live for free because of their father dying in a mining accident?
Oh, good Lord.
I didn't ask him.
This is terribly sad. Ray doesn't care.
I don't.
I don't think
That's his
I've
personal
done.
life.
I don't think I have the book kid. You mentioned him, and I think I saw him on a list of quests, but I don't think I've done that yet. I've done Renee and her friend, and I think it was her friend you're talking about, but maybe it's another one. But yeah, so Sidonia and Mars, like I think it is maybe a little underrated, like because people don't talk about it as much as they talk about Tequila City or Neon or New Atlantis. But for me,
Neon, you're going to need like 2 or 3 months.
oh my God, I think so. New Atlantis and Sidonia Mars are flush. There's so much to do, and they become major hubs. And besides that, there's all these little towns and settlements. We talk about the 4 major cities, but you've got Gagarin Landing. I just found a day or two ago. Gagarin Landing is a great little town. With a number of quests connected there. Obviously, we talked about New Homestead, which is where I, get my favorite cockpit, and a number of ship parts, and there's some great quests there. That's where our friend Heller is from. There's Hope Town, which, I mean, of course, Hope Town is a larger, medium-sized settlement, and I haven't done Hope Town yet. There's a lot there I haven't really explored. But then there's all
So
these
you
little
haven't met
civilian
Wes Johnson?
outposts. No, I haven't met Wes Johnson's character. I'm excited to do it. Where is Hope Town again? It's somewhere in kind of the north. Excuse me, I know there's no north in space, but like the upper part of the map, kind of above Wolf towards
Down.
Star
It's
Collective
in
territory,
one
or-
of the is it Volley?
that would be over near
No.
Neon. Volley is Neon.
Yeah, no, that's
I always
maybe-
read that as volume 2, by the
Yeah.
way, but I know it's volley.
yeah. What is it? I think it starts with a V. And it's right next to another star that we always go to, and usually skip the Hope Down
Oh,
star.
it's on Palvo in the Valo system.
Valo, that's the one.
Valo system. Okay, so no, anyway, I haven't been there yet. Oh, that's the one that's hooked on to Narian. Okay, so yeah, we have been there. It is kind of in the northeast of the UC space. I've mostly done UC space and then some unclaimed territories. But so I'm doing all that. There is so much. Like I said, 31 side quests. It doesn't stop. Besides that, I did my first trucking quest because we talked about trucking. So part of my whole thing on Mars, there's also Deimos Star Yards there, and Deimos, you can get a few quests there. You can take on contracts to, just be a space trucker, like you're talking about doing, or like our friend Ken is doing, hashtag Kenpull. And I'm like, well, I'm upgrading the storage space on the Violet Capybara. I'm up to like 1,400, 1,500 storage. Admittedly, it stays at like 1,000. It's like about 500 to play with at least. Like I'm gonna do trucking contracts. I got a contract for 2,000 copper. So that was kind of a side note. The last 3-4 days would be like I'd go back, I'd grab all this copper from my copper moon that I have, and then I'd also craft some stuff to sell and just waddle back to the ship and fly there and drop off all the copper. And that was an awesome
so
little
that's
side thing.
that's a supply mission.
That's a
So
supply
there's
mission.
also one where you can just take a shipment, from wherever the mission board is, to another system and drop it off.
So I found the with mission boards. I know I found some where they're like, hook up a cargo link, system cargo link to send us this much of a product. And then I've got this one for the contract at like Deimos Star Yards. But you're saying there's one basically you go to a regular mission board and says, take a load of this to here.
Yep.
Okay. I haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
I just filled a contract. But
and also the ones that where you have to give somebody a ride. Those are pretty easy.
The passenger ones, yeah.
You don't get
as long
a
as
lot
you
of
have room for passengers.
You don't get a ton for it, but it's super easy to do. And you can, all you have to do is just land there, get out of your ship, and you get your credits, and then leave.
That's awesome. So
I met a guy in Neon that wanted me to take some stuff to New Atlantic City.
Was it legal stuff, Steve?
You know what? I
legal?
got a bad vibe from him,
He
so I
told
didn't.
you not to
didn't
look
take it.
inside the bag.
Yeah. I just walked away. I just said nope to dope. Nope to
Nope
drugs.
to dope.
Yeah,
And yet you're
certainly, contraband can be very lucrative, but it is also a dangerous business
You get
because
scanned all the goddamn time. Every time I fast travel, just scanning for contraband.
Well, only do
Oh,
a,
yeah.
a handful of planets, but
yeah.
I go to them pretty
Pick something
regularly.
up by
too.
Well,
accident.
but the ones that you go to that don't, 9 times out of 10, there's nowhere to sell it on those systems.
Right.
So there's only a couple of specific places you can go where you don't get scanned, and if you're not a pirate, then there's one.
Do you have to go to
the den in the wolf system is what we've
a
recommended
fence,
last episode.
basically in Skyrim or Elder Scrolls? They have fences, right? So you have to go to a specific place to sell
But
bad stuff. Is
That
that the
said,
same
any
concept?
trade authority. So if you get contraband on a planet, and that's what's kind of happened for me. So like I've traveled contraband, sold at the den a few times, but like on Mars, I found a decent amount of contraband on Mars, and I'm already there. They don't scan you once you're on a planet.
Right.
So you take it, you truck it back to the trade authority if they're there, and you can get rid of it. So
You know what else
Yeah.
is sort of
Organs.
similar to that?
I had stolen a pirate ship,
Mhm.
and
I pirated the pirates.
I flew it back to New Atlantis
without catching some Varun pamphlets or something.
And there was some contraband in there. And I'm like, oh crap!
Oh, whoops! I should have assumed. You know what else is funny, sort of along those lines? You can run right by all the cops, the authorities, and no one ever flags you down and say, hey, you have a bounty. But as soon as I went up and engaged a conversation with one of those people, they're like, oh, hey, you have a bounty. You're coming with me. But if you're just running by them, they never ever say anything to you, or keep your hands to yourself, or like any of the guard things from Skyrim.
Skyrim, where they just yank you out of
they just
into a
hey,
conversation.
come
screen.
here. Yeah. So I was kind of surprised, and I was like,
It's
just
more
talking,
realistic though.
Yeah, just talking to the cop or whatever, and then he was like, "Oh wait, you're coming with me." I'm like, "Oh no, wait,
Yeah.
hey, come on, hang on."
They might not get a good look at your face with your chunks trucker hat pulled down.
Yeah, chunks, baby.
You got that chunk snap back. They don't look so close until you come up and talk to them, or you walk through one of the scanner sections for the bounty.
And I did discover you can get past the entrance to New Atlantis without walking through the scanner.
How do you get up there? What's your
If you
technique?
go, when you walk towards the ramp, if you instead go to the right, there's a fence, and you can jump over the fence
And then you
and
sell
walk
all your
through the
contraband.
bushes, and you're inside the city without going through the scanners.
Now, if you were to fast travel from there, you wouldn't be scanned either, right? Like if you load in the
Yeah,
dock
if
and you
you
fast travel
if
to the
you just
lodge.
load it to the lodge, yeah.
Okay, good. But the last quest I wanted to mention was a specific side quest I want to shout out as just being cool. And it's the one where it's a random thing that pops up because you run into a guy, calls you Charlie, and mentions some excitement in the Altair system,
Charlie
distress
3.
calls and such. Charlie 3.
Yeah.
Yes, there are
Charlie
Charlies
3.
met today. Yeah, best Charlie 3 to talk to in a while. But anyway, it starts a quest called Ground Pounder if you go there and investigate. And I highly recommend it as it's a very fighty quest, but it's a nice combination of a lot of ground fighting, little exploration, some defense missions, and some dogfighting in space. Although that was relatively easy on this one. It's a lower level system. But it's a fantastic quest, really cool characters. Captain Myung is one of my favorite people I've met in the game. I really liked her. And you get a great weapon as a reward called the Peacekeeper, which is a named AA-99 while we're talking about them. And that's a rifle, but it's a pretty darn great AA-99. So I've got that as one of my two main backup weapons because I'm specking in pistols still. I've got level 3 pistols. I do 50% more damage. That plus ballistic. I'm doing great on pistols. But when stuff hits the fan or you run into a terramorph, it's great to have an automatic and something you can use for that. So that's one of my 2 of those. But yes, try Ground Pounder. It's cool. And if you do this, she's one of the characters that you might meet randomly afterwards, too, just out in space. And I love that. I love that happens with some missions that you don't just run into characters once. After you talk to them, you see them at a bar somewhere else. You run into them on a planet doing something, or maybe come across them again in space. Like, it's just, the world is a really living world. We talked about books. One of my favorite things I ran into, there was a woman reading from Frankenstein in New Atlantis. I just sat down with all the citizens and listened to her read from Frankenstein for like 3 minutes. Fantastic. I love little things like that. And it's a very living world. After a major catastrophe somewhere, everyone references it. Like you mentioned the guards, like people, it totally changes them. You go back, you talk to Commander Tuala with the UC Vanguard. He knows the different things you've been up to and what you've accomplished. Like it's a very, very living world. And that makes a huge difference to me.
I think they were... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I can see where all the voice lines went in this game. Like why there are so many.
Oh yeah, so many. Same. If you go somewhere, where there's some shady characters, and you've done the Mantis quest, there's dialogue for that too. Just random conversations, that 2 crooks are having with each other in the bar.
And in space,
Yeah.
there's an event that can happen, at least one.
I think that has anything to do with all the people who play Skyrim who are complaining that after you become Thane, they still say, "Hey, keep your hands to yourself, you little bugger," or whatever. And it's like there's no
context at all.
Context of your accomplishments and achievements, and you're like, "Hey, I fucking run this town, douchebag. Leave me alone."
Yeah, like I'm a Thane, okay? Don't be calling me Sneak Thief.
Yeah, sneak thief.
But that pretty much does it for my gameplay. A lot of Starfield. Hope I didn't get too deep into it because I know we already have.
Yeah. Have you guys heard other languages yet? Like characters speaking other languages? Because I expect everyone's from Earth, so I get that, but not everyone on Earth speaks English. So, like, have you heard other people speaking other languages throughout different planets? Are there other? I know we haven't run into too many aliens or whatever yet necessarily, but is English the spoken language of space?
Yeah, you hear a lot of accents.
Yeah.
Yeah, which would lead you to believe that there are other languages, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nope, not hearing other languages really. Maybe a snippet here and there. I mean,
so every once in a while you would hear, Chinese in Fallout, or Argonian in Skyrim, or Orcish, whatever that language is called, Orsimer. I don't know.
I think the only time I've heard other languages was when someone was quoting something. Like I feel like there's been a couple times that it was just about a quote. Like they'll blah 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 say something and then immediately explain what they said or why.
And how much of Mary Shelley would have you gotten out of that lady? if you sat and listened to Frankenstein in perpetuity. Like how
I feel like there
long-
was more to it than what they had in the book. When you pick up Frankenstein, there's one page. I feel like she had 2 or 3 pages worth.
2 or 3 pages.
It wasn't
Okay.
that long, but it was like, I had a good 3 minutes sitting
Like
there listening.
I found Catcher in the Rye, I think. It was like, there's no way J.D. Salinger would allow the rights for that to be used if you know anything about that curmudgeon,
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I wonder how they did that.
Yeah, I mean, the pirates kind of have their own vernacular. It's
Yeah.
don't know what you'd call that.
Oh, yeah. Dialect, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, a lot of their own jargon and slang manner of speaking. House Verdon probably does too, but of course I haven't met many of them.
All right. Any other?
At least not talk to him.
Right.
Any other gameplay stuff you'd like to mention there, Jess?
Nah, I want to hear about your adventures in Fallout Shelter, Andrew.
Oh boy. Well, that has been my sort of dominant game here. Well, the last couple of months it seems too, but definitely this week. Started the new job, like I said, so I didn't have lots of extra time for gaming. Just sort of lots of dedication to getting used to the new schedule and all that. So I managed to get my Fallout 76 dailies in every day. But really, if I was sitting down to play a game, it was mainly just laying in bed and doing Shelter for a while before actually falling asleep. My main goal this week was just to get everybody pregnant, and that's a pretty good goal for a Wednesday night, right? It's
Just a good week's work.
Just
I
to
mean,
get everybody
just
pregnant.
one night? Oh my goodness.
No, that's pretty much the whole week. I was just like working on different sections of inviting all the ladies over, and having them leave happy, of course. And I died. My character Andrew in the vault died, so I have to create a new Andrew. You know how I created each of us on the Fallout feed, and we're all having our nice happy podcast room, but it got attacked and a deathclaw killed me. So it's like, well, should I just quit now? No, that's I took another fresh baby who had just grown up to an adult, took them down to the barber shop, altered them to look like me again, and I'm just gonna start myself over again. Like it's new life, next life, whatever that game is. I'm starting to get some pretty cool stuff that I hadn't actually noticed before in the update. Like what is the Assaultron head is now a weapon in Fallout Shelter, which I'd never noticed before, so that's pretty fun.
Oh, neat.
And I think it does irradiate you when you use it, because that character always has lots of radiation, so I'm like, that's weird.
Did they glow a little bit?
They have a nasty red bar. Got some robot armor, which I don't know if I'd ever noticed before, so that was really cool. Let's see what else. There's just like certain little things that they're dropping in from the new update that I still hadn't been exposed to a lot, that I'm starting to see a lot more. So that's been fun. Oh, fighting Protectrons out on quests and stuff. I hadn't seen Protectrons as enemies and stuff like that before. So, and they're really cute. You know how Fallout Shelter is just like really cute design, and the Deathclaws look adorable. Like I'd love a little Deathclaw plushie that looks like from Fallout Shelter. But
big time.
The Protectrons are just really huggable. They look adorable. So I've been having lots of fun.
It'd be great in the game if they had the Assaultrons and like your little vault dwellers would shoot it and then it would crawl on the ground after them.
Blast you in the face
like
with
the way
laser.
they do. And
oh, that's so scary.
That's always, it is so totally one of the most creepy things.
One of the things that I was sort of noticing the other day is that super mutants are mentioned in the text dialogue. If you send someone out into the wasteland and just start exploring, it gives you a time code and then what happened, another time code and then what's happened. Super mutants are mentioned in that conversation, and so are, what are they called, centaurs or whatever those weird like slug people were called from Fallout 3?
Centaurs.
Centaurs. Yes. Those are mentioned too, but they introduced new bad guys, like they introduced robots, they introduced alien invaders and stuff like that, but still, like one of the most iconic and classic all the way back to Fallout 1 is the super mutant. Why have they not added a super mutant attack, or if run into a super mutant out and on a quest or something like that. I've just sort of puzzled as to some of the iconic Fallout symbols that have been omitted for some reason. So I keep crossing my fingers, and who knows if Fallout Shelter will ever get another update again. I don't know if it's still a constantly played game, if it gets enough support out there where that is something they will continue to support on, because evidently enough people were still playing it during the Alien Invasion introduction to Fallout 76 that they brought a lot of those updates over to Shelter. So that leads you to believe that they're still watching the numbers of Shelter and yada yada. I mean,
we've talked on Iguana Bits about how they have been updating it more and more the last year.
Yeah.
It was starting just before last Halloween. We got our first update. It was September, I'm pretty sure. So it was a year ago, leading to Halloween. Then we got a Thanksgiving update, and then Alien stuff. We've got a quest for each of the holidays. And yeah, they're paying a lot more attention to it the last year, which makes you wonder.
Fallout Shelter Online, right? That's what that means. We're good.
That's the hope.
We'll get it. We'll get it one day, you guys. All right. I was just noticing 76 dailies. Jesse, you were mentioning that they were making the daily sort of easier. I don't know if you said easier, but I took it as easier. But they're making them sort of thematic, like kill 10 animals, then cook 10 meat-based meals, and eat 10 meat-based meals. So it's they're stacking the things that you do, so you only actually have to do one thing. Really, is go kill 10 animals, and then there's four of the 6 daily quests that are sort of piggybacking on each other, and then there's always cripple a Mirelurk. It's been in it 12 days in a row. You're like, what the fuck, you guys? But I do enjoy that they stacking the dailies like that. It really makes it so, I remember Ray was saying back in the day, if it taking me more than 15-20 minutes to do my daily quest, then it's taking me too long. Well, you can go kill your 10 animals and be done with doing your dailies in about 6 minutes now. You know what I mean? You can really rip through those dailies if you have a good solid plan of what you're going to do and don't dilly dally. You can get in and out really quickly. And so that's pretty much my 76, just doing the dailies and such, and lots of Shelter, still having fun with that. I've gotten all the ladies pregnant in Shelter, like I mentioned, because I'm planning on doing a huge expansion, and I want everybody ready to go at once, if that makes any sense. I'm going to just build a ton of living spaces, have the power and food and water rooms ready to go for once they grow up, they'll move into. So I'll just sort of build all the living spaces, then I'll build all the power and water and everything, and have those ready to go and just empty sitting there. And then right before I log off, I'll birth all the babies that are possible, and then I'll log out. And it takes a kid, I think, 3 or 6 hours to actually grow up from a child to an adult. So I'll just log out that whole time, because the kids count against your food and water expenditure. So they need to eat and drink, but they can't contribute to the vault. So you cannot be logged in that time, because all of my resources will get depleted. So I'll deliver all the babies, log out for a day or whatever, and let everyone grow up, so that when they come back, I can just assign everyone to a room immediately and not have to waste any of my resources. And that's going to be my next big expansion. But I need to sort of sit down and plan out the power and water and food necessary. And I think I've built most of I can't think of any of the rooms that I haven't built yet, I don't think.
So you're not quite to the point where you can build the endurance training room to train up your
I have all those. Yeah, I've got a row of...
you have those?
Yeah, and okay. I always, I don't know if you guys always do it that way, but I always just spell out special. I do, strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence. Yeah. I always spell out special, even though that's not the order you get access to them in, and on when you open your build menu, right. They're not spelled out in that fashion, but that's always the way I build them, just for ease
and
of
really the most important one is endurance.
Yeah, absolutely. and I was sort of doing a little case study, like without going back and Googling, saying, okay, what special stat does what. I was thinking that, you need high endurance to help your questing about it. Well, endurance doesn't really help. It gives you more hit points, but it doesn't actually help your damage resistance at all. That's I've gathered through a little testing is the strength category. So you only want to worry about endurance when you're actually clicking the arrow that levels them up. So you want to, if you have a 7 or 5 endurance outfit, swap it onto your little character, hit that level up button, and then you can put them back into whatever outfit is in, because the only thing that endurance matters is during the level up period, endurance will give you more hit points per level up, but they don't need to be wearing it like constantly or whatever. It's just when the second that you hit that up arrow to level up the people. So I was putting people with high endurance in my like defense positions, like the vault door and stuff, but then I was like, wait a second, the rate that their hit points, their little green bars going down is much more on the endurance guy than the guy who's right next to him who has a high strength but low endurance. So like doing a little testing for myself, I figured out endurance is just a level up thing. It's not an actual damage resistance or health thing, really. So I mean, it gives you more hit points, but you still, if you don't have high strength, your health bar goes down pretty darn quickly during battles. And the last thing I wanted to talk about in my gameplay was fuck Starfield. I actually got so angry because we did, like I mentioned, we had a nice long teaching session of Ray and Jess.
So much fun.
Slowly walking Andrew through, describing each and every step, looking at little diagrams, showing Andrew what to do. And then I went and I tried to do it myself for like 2 hours.
And you did a great job.
And
I bet you built a wonderful ship.
I thought I had it down. I was like, okay, I got my weapons. I'm
did.
ready to go. If you remember, the situation is I'm stuck in a part of the main quest where there's no way around it. I have to do a space battle.
Getting close to the end, y'all.
And so I don't know if I'm close to the end or not. Like, I feel like I'm close to the end, but I still could be like 14 quests left. You still have 20 hours of gameplay left. But there's a space battle that I'm locked into. Like, each time I load that save, it's like engaging. I can't fast travel away. I can't, fly around him. I can't like land on the planet to avoid it or anything like that. So I have to engage in the space battle. And my ship just sucks. So Ray and Jess spent a very long time, very detailed conversation explaining to Andrew what to do, how to do it. Jess shared a screen, showed all of the building things, and described everything in great detail. I was like, okay, I got this. I'm going to nail it this time.
You did perfect, I bet. Except that you went and you had no weapons.
Yeah, I went and did everything, loaded up the save, went back, engaged in my space battle. I'm like, all right, I'm going to blast you motherfuckers, engage my weapons. And
so I'm
error.
90% or 99% sure that you just didn't assign any weapons to a weapon group. Like I said in the chat right when you first said it, I know you don't want to go back and do all that again because it's such a pain, but I'm pretty sure you reduced down to just like one weapon type, maybe two.
Yep.
And you ignored all the errors, but the one area you can't ignore is not assigning to a weapon group. That's when you go to the second tab, like everything's the build tab.
Mm-hmm.
When you're on doing your flight check, you go to there's another tab there on flight check, weapon assignments. That's where you assign your weapon to a group. And I'm feeling like all of your weapons are unassigned. So they're there, but you can't shoot. And that's all you have to do.
The other thing is that when you do a rebuild like that, it doesn't. If you've completely replaced all your weapons, it doesn't apply power to them.
Well, right. You just power them up when you're in your ship.
If you go to shoot them, there's no power to them. They don't fire.
I'm sure he put power bars to it.
No, I thought, oh, maybe I just need to power them. And I went and tried to power them up, and there was just a blank column. There was no option to power them up. I'm like,
okay, that is If there's no place to put power, then you did not assign a
Yeah,
weapon.
and that's all it is. You just didn't
Yeah.
assign them. I
All
bet
right.
the ship is perfect.
All right, I'm going to go back and do it again, guys. So be ready for a rant
So-
next
And-
week
and
about
this
how
time,
it
test
didn't
when you're
work
done.
again.
And so let me add one more thing to that. Go back even further on your saves, so that the very first thing you do when you come out of the build menu is drop into a dogfight. So go back a save and then do your building, test it out a little bit.
Yeah, get a couple of saves.
Get a little experience with the new weapon systems and everything that you've got, and then jump into the piece of the quest.
And you'll
that
get that just by jumping system to system or planet
Mhm.
to planet a few times. You'll find a fight.
You'll find a fight somewhere.
When you do that space battle simulator thing you guys were explaining to me last week,
Yeah.
do you get to use your own ship or just sort of like a display ship?
It's their ship.
Yeah,
okay,
it's theirs.
so,
It's a
so I
Class
can't
B.
test it out in that. Okay.
No.
All right.
But yeah, save before you do it. Go back a save or two. Go back a little ways. Save before you change your ship. Save as soon as you're done before you do anything, and then go test it out. And that way, you'll have a fully adjusted ship. So you only need to adjust what doesn't work, if anything.
Next week, I might need to set up a GoFundMe to buy Andrew a new television after I throw my fucking controller through my TV screen. Okay,
I felt so
you guys,
bad.
You
'cause
guys ready for that?
You guys, this was like by Sunday of last week that he was all F Starfield and so mad.
I haven't played it since. I put the controller down and have not touched Starfield all week because it made me
Yeah.
so.
Well,
so
and
frustrated.
if you go in knowing that the first thing I'm going to do is get my butt kicked, yeah, you're not going to want to do that.
No,
That's why you need
you're
to
right.
go
Yeah.
back, even if it's means a little extra, going and replaying some stuff. It'll be worth it.
Just need to get
Andrew.
involved in a different dogfight. Yes,
Did
Jess.
you
What's
see
up?
the time? I think we're 2 hours into the show so far.
Oh,
Just
good
finished our
lord!
gameplay.
Let's
This
see,
is
about,
a new record.
About 2:10. Yeah, just on gameplay, but over 2 hours. Yeah.
So
yeah. Do you
yeah,
want to talk
we
some
should split off
quests
the
or whatever?
Starfield stuff to its own podcast.
Yeah, we definitely should. Before we hop into Quest, Steve, did you want to tell us anything about your adventures in Dry Rock Gulch or Galactic Zone?
Over and above the feedback that I sent in about.
Yeah, because we
No,
already heard
not
about
really.
those. He actually
Oh, did we?
heard
What
about
was
Dry
the-
Rock.
Oh, I'm
He worked
sorry.
back-
Yeah, that was
Backwards.
last week's episode.
I started at Galactic Zone so that I could make the Nuka Colas at a place towards like beverage here, and there's an achievement for shooting big creatures on Nuka World creatures on some sort of crafted Nuka Cola, and so I cleared out the Galactic Zone first because I wanted to make the Nuka Colas there. So before I went into some of the other areas, because I knew like when I went into Dry Rock Gulch, there'd be a
Okay.
whole heap of bloodworms that I could drink a Nuka Twin before going in there and then get credit for that.
Drink a Nuka blood.
Yeah. So I did
All right.
that.
Sorry, that was my bad. So you did it sort of flip flop reverse. What was you said you had about a little bit of data together to present a feedback. What were you going to cover in that one?
Oh, yeah, that takes us into kind of a lot of the quests, except for the Grantchester Mystery House. I went over there.
Oh, nice, the little
Okay.
ghost girl. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I went down there because I love that little area, and then there's also the hubologists out there that way. And when I went through the Grantchester Mystery House, because one, I wanted to grab a Scaver magazine that's in there. Yeah, and there's at one point you have to wait for the doors to open, and then in one room there's an assaultron that comes out at you, and also the little girl ghost is there, but I have an explosive weapon, and so I was shooting it, and I think I did some damage to the little girl ghost,
No way.
which then bugs out the Grantchester house, and you can't progress past that room.
But the ghost gets
So-
mad that you shoot her? What? Come on,
I
ghost.
guess. Yeah, because she never ran away. She just stood there staring at me. Right? Normally she comes in and runs away from you, but
That's
like in that
eerie.
case, she stayed there. So I had to go back and reload. And then when I reloaded, I was back by the hubologist. And then the hubologist started glitching out and getting all weird. They
Are
just
you
weren't acting.
finding that the longer you go into your survival run, the weirder things get, even though you're
That's what
playing
I was
like
thinking.
vanilla? Hmm.
Especially certain areas, like even out there by the hubologist, I was seeing like weird dirt patches that were like floating a little bit,
Yeah,
and
and
I
for no
started
mods,
going,
that shouldn't be happening. But the unofficial patch does fix some stuff. And the way saves, we know the bigger the saves get, the more things go wrong. And that's not just with mods, because even the base game has,
Yeah.
some dirt in there.
yeah, I was getting worried about it, worried about my save. So and the hubologist, I never did get them to unglitch. So I never finished their quest. I was totally gonna put too many cores in and spin them up. But so anyways, I did reload and I went back through the Grantchester Mystery House. Um, I swear, as I recall, honestly, I think I died at some point along the way, and then I had to reload a third time and go back and do it again. I think that's how it happened. Um, and I got through. And then later on, I'll tell you, I was working on Beverageer, making multiple 20 types of different Nuka-Colas.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, and one of them is called the Bombardier or something. Nuka Bomb Drop. And
Oh, the
so
bomb drop. Okay.
the bomb drop, right? I had to make the Nuka Bomb Drop. And you need rum to make the bomb drop. But rum is not something that you can purchase from a vendor. It's only picked up from a couple certain areas.
Huh.
One of them happens to be the Grantchester Mystery House.
Okay. So that worked out.
Well,
Should've worked
apparently
out.
I had gone through and picked it up at some point and probably sold it off because I was just like picking up stuff and then selling it off for caps. So it wasn't where it was supposed to be. So I had to go back all the way to the Cabot house where there is apparently there's a
no.
bottle down in the basement of rum.
Down in the refrigerator there.
And you're doing
Yeah.
pure survival, so there's no fast travel. There's no. Oh my god.
No, I was doing a lot of traveling back and forth between Nuka World and the Commonwealth, though.
Good
It
lord.
was not a big deal. I was constantly going back and forth. I just got used to it.
Where was your sleeping bag save point for Grantchester? Is there a place outside near there where if you reloaded, you wouldn't have to travel too far?
At the Hubologist, where are they at? They're at a diner. They're at a old
Yeah, right.
Mel's
right, right.
Diner.
Yeah.
There. So there's a sleeping bag in there that I kept waking back up at. Yeah.
Very cool.
And yeah, so that was good. And then then I think that was the last magazine I needed to get the Librarian.
Are there 5 scavs?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, there's 5.
You remember what any
I
of them
forget
do?
where they all are, but I could tell you actually where they all are. I have a handy spreadsheet here
Handy dandy no.
with all of the yeah, that's also what I did was I had a spreadsheet with the Nuka-Colas, so I knew what I had to make those, to find the magazines, to find the cappies, to get the star cores.
Good lord. To do
I
this,
know.
to do this, to do this. Oof.
Yeah, so the magazines, there's one in Galactic Zone, one in Nuka World Junkyard, one in Kitty Kingdom, one in Grantchester, and one in Dry Rocket Gulch.
Wow. I don't think. No, I know for a fact I didn't get all of them. I haven't got a
You would want the one
I
in the
haven't got-
Grantchester, gives you a plus to explosives.
Oh,
That's
I
nice.
should. I haven't. That's probably like I knew that I haven't been there yet, so I need to go visit our ghost girlfriend.
Yeah.
Give me better.
So holy
explosives.
crap! Looking at the Nuka cooler, So you make a nuka cooler with quantum quartz and victory, and it gives you plus 1,200 hit points, plus 50 max hit points. It does give you 5 radiation, but it also gives you 349 action points and adds 20 action points to your total.
This makes you Superman. Holy cow.
That's crazy.
How achievement checklist, Steve? Where are you?
Achievement. Like, where am I at right now?
Did you get all of them? You
Yes.
done? Achievement hunt
I'm
over?
done.
Yeah. Nice.
Really? You got all of them? Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Congratulations. So Hostile Takeover is 8 Raider camps in the Commonwealth, which we'll get to. You did the Beverageer. You did Eyes on the Prize with the Nukecade tickets.
I did.
Did you,
You know,
did you do the basketball cheat thing?
No,
No.
I did the explosive weapon thing
with the
That's
ducks.
probably what I
On the
meant.
ducks.
with the ducks.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
I'm glad that worked for you. And you were also you were picking up rolls. You were checking trash cans. You were getting it every which way. I was surprised.
I
There are more
did.
rolls than I remembered. Like running around the different parks. I'm like, oh, there are more rolls than I thought, but they don't add up to that much.
Yeah.
You know, I
Couple
found a lot of
thousand.
those dirt piles that had tickets in them all over the main street and over by Fizz Top Grill. And then I made the post about it on, I think, on the Discord, like, oh, I found them in these piles and stuff. And there weren't that many outside of that zone. So that's pretty much kind of the only zone they had that. I wasn't finding those piles of tickets everywhere throughout the park. A
Very
little bit in the
cool.
parking lot.
All right, sounds good. Any other feedback there you want to mention before we hop into this week's quests?
Just the quest will work into it, yeah.
All right, well, let's go ahead and roll into it. Ray, let's hear about your adventures because you said you had a special route to have to sort of navigate your way through this quest, right?
Was that just at the end with Power Play, or was it for the whole
No,
thing?
it was with Home Sweet Home.
Okay.
So went and talked to Shank, and he says, "Okay, we need to start, taking settlements." I'm like, "Great."
ready.
And
Send me in, coach. Let's go.
so he gave me the list of places to go, and so I picked County Crossing because I hadn't taken that one yet.
Now,
And-
on that list, some are lit up, some are grayed out. Do you know why? Are they ones where if there's no people there, can you not choose those, or?
I don't know because I'm running a mod.
Okay, got it. Go on.
And so went to County Crossing, and so I have a ballistic weave green dress, which gives me +2 charisma. I've got the black glasses, which gives me 1, and I've got a ballistic weave press boy cap that gives me +2. So on top of my already 9 charisma, I get 5 more.
Yeah, you're rocking
And
14
so
or more, yeah.
I went to the guys at County Crossing and said, "Hey, look, I'm gonna take your land. I'll let you leave. Otherwise, I'm gonna kill you."
Mhm.
And they said, "Okay, we're leaving. See you later."
Tater.
So you convinced them with the
So I
orange
convinced them.
option.
Yeah.
Did you have to pay them at all or anything?
No.
Nice.
So, all right. So County Crossing's good. And off I go back to Shank, talk to him. He's like, "Great. Okay. So now we need, somebody to supply us with caps." So I went to Green Top, Nursery, and, that was another one that I hadn't, been to, because the mod that I have, sends you to places where you haven't been.
So he gives you a list. Like when I'm doing it, I got a big old list
Uh-huh.
that to choose from. So does yours basically just list everything, or does it only list ones you don't own? How does that work?
Just list the places I don't own.
Okay, see, mine listed a bunch that I own, like
Okay.
pretty much all of the ones I could take that were lit up were ones I owned. So I went for Green Top as my first. Green Top is
Okay.
what I did, and yeah, I chose it. He's like, "But boss, isn't that a settlement you control?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like,
Hmm.
whoa, ruthless. Like that was a really, it was a fun response. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, you know what? Fair, but he's like, you realize if you do this, you won't be able to, run it anymore. I'm like, no, let's give it to the gangs. Let's go. So yeah, that was
Cool.
fun.
Yeah, I also took County Crossing, which I did not have. And so yeah, I think we took it by violence though. With the operators. I went
I-
in and we
Oh
shot
yeah,
them
I
up
went by
and
myself.
okay.
I didn't take any raiders with me.
Yeah, I haven't done Raiders with me yet, but I did talk down on the first one. But Green Top, I won the orange challenge the first time, and then I paid some credits because I'm not a monster. But let me tell you, it was so sad. Like there I am, and she's like, yeah, but this is our home. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm like, here, 1,000 caps, and I like, here, just go. And they took them and they just started leaving. I had like 7 settlers at Green Top, and they're just like kind of filing out between their, look downcast, and you go to talk to them, and they're like, yeah, no, leave me alone, and haven't you done enough, and you bully, blah blah blah, and like they're just all wandering off, and I heard like the Incredible Hulk theme playing in the background. It was very sad.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da.
So with with a little bit of convincing, Green Top agreed to go ahead and supply me with caps. And so I went back to Shank.
Yep. So County
And
Crossing is your outpost, and Green Top is your,
Is your-
one that provides you.
yeah,
Yep.
your caps provision. Back to Shank. Now you got to go find somebody that'll supply us with food.
Mhm.
And so
Grey Garden.
No, where'd I go?
I wanted to stay nearby. Maybe you went to the Slog. That's what I did for my support
It
location.
might have been the Slog.
Tarberry.
But so again, easy to convince them, to supply with food. And so then, back to Shank. And I am so glad that I hotkeyed that vanilla weather. Because every single time I traveled by that tram, I would get some kind of a rad storm, either on the Nuka World side or on the Commonwealth side. At one point, I tried like 3 or 4 times to fast travel away from Sunshine Tidings and arrived dead because of radiation. So I made liberal use of the clear the weather hotkey. But so this time when I went back to Shank, he tells me, okay, now build, builds, we need to make the Raiders happy. So go back and build, some fun stuff for them to do. And so
And then you go, oh my God, I got to go all the way back to County Crossing again from here?
again. Yep.
Dude, seriously.
So much fast travel, but at least at this point, after back and forth like 3 or 4 times, you can tell Shank to move to your outpost.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't at first. You have to go find and then leave and then come back and send raiders. And there's about 4 fast travels back and forth, or I can get between settlements because, by the way, my supply lines didn't all go away. Only the one to the settlement that I was taking over went away, but my other supply lines were still there. So I could run to a nearby settlement, fast travel, and then run down to Nuka World. Is that how it worked for you, or did all yours go away?
Yeah, none of mine went away. And actually,
Okay,
my County Crossing automatically got a supply line.
Okay.
So as soon as I took it, I was able to fast travel between there and Sunshine Tidings.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
it did make that a lot easier.
As soon as I chose one I owned, because I had to choose one I owned, you immediately in the right hand, you got a pop-up message, Green Top is no longer allied to you. Or like this settlement is no longer your settlement, is what happened when I did that.
Yeah, basically my experience was if I took a place, it would interrupt the provisioners in or out of that specific place
But
that I
only for
took,
that
but
one.
it didn't, it didn't affect the rest. But oftentimes I was like cutting off a long chain.
Mhm.
Mm.
So
Yeah. So then
well.
I went back and I was going to build the radio, so they could listen to
Nuka World Radio. Yeah.
Nuka World Radio.
Three
Um,
dog.
but I could not find it in the menu. I'm like, what the hell? I looked through every single place it could, possibly be, and didn't see it. So then, all right, well, let me build the still. Because a still is one of the things you can build. So,
Right. That doesn't need power.
yeah, start looking through. No still. All right. So the drug dispensary, got to have that. So went looking through, couldn't find that either. So I looked and okay, did I not get Wasteland Warlord? But I looked and nope, it was in my perk list. But it would not let me build them, so I couldn't increase the happiness because I had gone back to Shank and when I figured out I couldn't build them to see if I had missed something and went to talk to him again, and he was like, "No, you need to take care of the settlement we have before you do anything else."
Right. And I was getting that while waiting for my happiness to get up there. But yours was already up there and it wouldn't change for him.
Well, no. So my happiness was at 60%. Because
okay.
I couldn't build any of the stuff that made him happy.
Right. Okay.
So I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. Why can't I do this? So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll just console him in. So I went in the console, made a couple of console commands, and built all the stuff. Had the radio and the amplifiers, so we were listening to Blue Eyes or whatever his name is. And my happiness went from 60 to 62.
Oh, good job with old Blue Eyes.
That's a big bump. All right.
You even did the pick 'em up station and the still and all that. Like,
yeah,
these objects, the objects you build to settle happiness are hilarious. You put down the still, they start drinking. You put down the pick 'em up refrigerator, and like they wander over and they just start like injecting themselves immediately. I'm just like, dude, whoa, slow down! It wasn't even powered yet. They're like, oh man, like raiders.
So I'm like, okay, fine. This is just, this is out of control. So I spawned into gorillas. And still no happiness bump. So by this time I had moved Shank to the settlement, but anytime I went up to talk to him, all I could do was trade with him.
Wow. So they wouldn't get happiness. None of this would happen. That's awful. And they had food. You did the food thing too.
Oh yeah,
that was an issue. But I just went and grabbed a bunch of meat fruit and stuff.
And you'd built a raider flag, right?
Yeah,
you got to
built
build
the raider
a flag for
flag,
one of them, and then it built a transmitter. You have to build the raider transmitter.
Yep.
And because sometimes the red radio settlement item doesn't show up in my build menu until I've built the transmitter, I think.
Yeah, and they because it automatically connected to my other settlements, they're all like maxed out supplies. So immediately I had like, thousands and thousands of, supplies to be able to build stuff with, and, all kinds of food, tons of water, and nothing.
So what did you do?
So I double checked where I was in the quest, and it showed, that the quest stage I was on was right where I should be to be able to talk to Shank and complete the quest. I'm like, okay, fine. Well, let me just see if I can just end the quest. So I put in, the stage as for the final stage of the quest, which should have ended the quest, but it didn't. It didn't do anything. And so I'm like, well, crap. I have no idea what to do. So the only logical thing to do is start the next quest.
So okay,
So
so you
I consoled in. So I've got one settlement, and then they're being supplied by with caps and with food and all the supplies they could possibly want. But I couldn't get any further than that.
and so the next
Grates.
quest stage would have been what? Talk to Shank and claim 2 additional outposts. So you never
Yeah.
got to the 2 additional outposts. It just wouldn't
it
happen.
wouldn't it just would not happen. All I
Mhm.
could do was trade with him. So I started power play, and that kicked off and started up. So Shank says, "Oh hey, oh now you're going to talk to me, asshole." He says, "There's trouble in Nuka World. You need to get back there right away."
Why don't you go take care of it, Shank, you jerk?
I'm like, okay, fine. So back I went, and unfortunately, it was the dead of night, and with the darker nights mod, I couldn't see crap, and I tried to go back to Fizztop to do a save in the bed up there, and there were a bunch of disciples
They're waiting for you.
waiting for me.
Mhm.
And the disciples are the worst because they're right there, right next to Fizztop, and so they took me out before I couldn't see them, to be able to react fast enough before they killed me. So it respawned me in on the tram ride, so I had to sit through the tram ride again. And when you go from the Commonwealth, when you go from Nuka World to the Commonwealth, it's instant. It starts up and then goes to black, and then boom, you're in the Commonwealth. When you're going to Nuka World, you have to sit through the entire ride.
10-minute goddamn ride, yeah.
And so got back there this time. I was expecting them, and with Vats, Blitz, and the Ripper, they were quickly dispatched.
Toast.
Got my sleeping save in, and was off to the power plant. But now you guys, I'm sure, had an opportunity to repeat the settlement process several times.
Well, yes. Now I only got partway through, so I'll just tag in on what you said. I talked about some of it while you went through. Talked with Shank, did the back and forth, did Green Top. Like I said, I did the talk down. And so after you kick the settlers out of settlement one way or another, whether you talk them, pay them, shoot them, however you do it, you go back and you send in, you plant the flag for your gang. There is a spot that I don't think you mentioned where it's like, oh, there's some raiders that are resenting the fact that we're building
I did
stuff
get them too. Yeah.
in the Commonwealth. So that's the next thing that happens. Like another raider gang saying we're intruding on our territory, we got to go handle them. So you show up, and along with your raiders, you meet with the leader there. His name's Sinner, and it's like the Sinner Man or Sinner's Gang or whatever. Which
Sinner Man, where you gonna run to?
Great song, by the way, Sinner Man, love it. So you can basically intimidate him, tell him to step off, or you can kill him.
Nick Cave?
Nick Cave
Is
did
it?
cover it. Yeah, he covered it.
Okay.
He did
All right.
yeah.
All right.
So I put a picture in the Discord of that conversation with Sinner right there. And, basically intimidate dialogue is you listen closely. This land is ours. Turn around and crawl your ass back under whatever rock you came from right now. And tail between his legs. He did. He turned around, started walking away. And because I'm a good old Just Raider, I shot him in the back of the head. And
Nice.
then me and the operators, we took down the rest of his gang there. A couple of them were in power armor too. Like they were ready to fight. They were not wusses. Now, my biggest problem here, you might recall that I mentioned last episode, finishing stuff off, that I had run out of ammo for my main guns. Well, your girl was not smart enough to replenish her ammo because she's been too busy replenishing ammo in Starfield. So when I started, I had like 12 bullets for Kellogg's pistol, none for Deliverer, and then a bunch for my plasma. So I went straight plasma, and man, I've got goo piles all over Green Top. It is now very Green Top, glowing Green Top. Yeah.
Nice.
But that was fun. I just leaning into the Raider stuff with the intimidate dialogue and the wow. It's
But
different.
it's especially fun for mine because, my character is a female, and she's wearing the green dress. So she's got on this, just regular green dress, and the newsboy cap, and she's and got this big smile on her face, and she's telling this guy to go take a hike, and he's like, okay, ease up.
It looks all scary. I rated it up with Oswald. I've got Oswald's cap, and I'm just rocking some hardcore armor. I love the picture you just put of your character, Steve. Zenith
Yeah, I
with
put a
the
picture of Zenith in the Discord.
the cappy glasses, that face, the tricorn hat. She looks
Oh,
amazing.
that's very cool.
And as I'd been going through, I'd been just adding on damage, burns, scars, and not removing any as we went. So she was just
Mhm.
totally mangled, plus all the radiation she was taking.
Do you have
Getting
the
more and more Raider-esque. Wow, that's just a cool look.
Do you have the kosher fez sideburns going on there too? That's awesome.
What do they call it? Razor Hawk?
Razor Hawk. That's cool.
Yeah, that's probably part of
Yeah.
that. Yep.
And you see that she's wearing the 10% speed captain's hat and also the
Yeah.
10% speed marine armor arm, along with the 10% speed 2 legs, so that's 40% speed.
She doesn't even need
10%,
jet. Like she is auto jet.
The 10% speed
I had to
glasses.
back mine off because I was moving so fast, the game was having a hard time rendering in front of me. And so I had a couple of times where I'd be moving real quick and then just stop.
It'll do that. That's one of the reasons why we don't have ground vehicles and Fallout or probably Starfield. We're all obsessed with going faster. Like you're working on those run abilities in Starfield too.
Yeah.
Steve. So yeah, but that's essentially the first settlement. You get there, you then get a feeder settlement. I didn't do anything for caps. I just did a feeder for food, and then I stocked other stuff up. I did the take the gang down, made them happy. I didn't have any problems with my stuff, so I plopped down Nuka World Radio, plopped down a still, put down the pick me up, and like I said, they went right to it. It took a while for them to get happy. Like it's not instant, They started at 88 and then it went down to like 75, 76 while I was doing stuff. And that's where it was hovering. And then once I put that stuff down, like over the next day, basically, just talking to things, going back and forth, doing other quests, ended up getting to 100%. And that's when it said, talk to Shank again. And then you talk to him again and you can keep on going.
Does
So
that
I did not-
does that 100% also count for the achievement 100% settlement thing?
I mean, I had the achievement years ago, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever done that, but I have mods, so I wouldn't be able to tell
Yeah,
this
we
time
won't
either.
know.
Yeah.
I bet it would. That would be cool. Like if the Raiders were actually easier, as long as they got on
Yeah.
the drugs, they were happy enough.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, so that's all I did, and that's all I've done. Like I did not expect there to be so many stages. There was so much back and forth those first 4-5 bits of this, like all the stages to this, and then getting stuff done. It was really neat. But so I haven't actually launched Power Play yet, just setting up those outposts. But the whole fundamentals are different. I want to say we talked about this pre-show a little bit, but Nuka World, there's a lot to it. We have for years been missing out on a lot of Nuka World content, like the conversation with the Raiders, the different personalities, all this stuff with Shank. It's really well thought out content that I never saw before. All the dialogue and stuff. So I'm enjoying it.
If you run the quests for the factions too.
Yeah, because they got a bunch.
They've got a bunch of that. A lot of Radiant quests.
Go in, collar someone, bring someone back. I actually did that while we were doing the actual Nuka World Park stuff. I did the operators. We put some people down by the alley there, and then there was another one where we needed to teach some people a lesson for the pack. Never did it for disciples, of course, because F dem disciples. But
I touched on that in my last feedback is doing the Radiant Quest. Yes, because there is a achievement for completing at least 12 of those Radiant Quests.
Wow.
So, and you can only pick up one per faction. So if you're just doing that, you still have to go back and forth between Nuka World and the Commonwealth at least, 3-4 times.
Gee whiz.
But I don't know what I did, like 50 or 60 times. Who knows?
oh my goodness, Mags and William. Yeah, it adds up, Steve.
He loves
It's
that
quite
train
impressive.
ride.
I started out and I also took, like I said, County Crossing. And then what I did was I went up and I went and I talked to Shank, and he said he offered me, like, when it came to taking, I needed to take a vassal settlement, right? Isn't that your second one? Your first one's a
Yep.
regular raider
Support
one, and then your
settlement in some
second
case.
one's the support
Mhm.
settlement. Yeah. And so I had pre-prepped a couple of settlements, like Green Top Nursery, and I had them so like their food was at 50 and water at 50,
Holy shit!
and I'd
that's-
taken away
yeah.
all of their defense. And so
Oh my gosh.
You prepped
General.
them. You prepped them for
and so
being
I knew
conquered.
that and so I did that before I took the quest from Shank.
Wow.
And so then I took the quest from Shank, and then I went and took that as a vassal settlement, so that my raider settlements would have tons of food and water.
Smart.
Yeah, I did that to them. That's Green Top Nursery and the co-op. I built that up with all the food and water, and then where's the other one I took? Oh, I took was it 10 Pine?
You did 10 Pines Bluff? Okay, yeah,
I
that
did
makes
10 Pines
sense.
Bluff, yeah, which was a Minuteman outpost, but now it's not.
And you
Not
got
anymore.
Zamanja right there if you need it for support or whatever.
Oh yeah, you know what? I ended up taking Zamanja later on as a raider outpost when I
Mhm.
was working up to my 8 raider outposts. I had not gone there. I'd avoided that place because I didn't want Boomer shooting me with a
With the
with
fucking
a
mini nuke or whatever.
mini nuke.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a
because
jerk.
that guy
He'll kill you a few
Fuck
times.
That guy.
that guy's got amazing aim. So yeah, he's sniped me so many
300
times
yards,
in previous
yeah.
games.
He really does. He's like the only raider with VATS. He can hit you so often. I died a lot taking Zamanja.
Yeah. So that's a fun place. That's very Raider-esque. Um, yeah, so I had built up a couple. You know what I noted was that the game never gave me the option to take uh Oberlin Station, whether as like a
Hmm.
raider or as a vassal settlement, because I had been planning on taking that as a vassal settlement, but I had it made up like with not as much as like some of the other places, but because I realized that it wasn't giving me the option. So who knows? Just it never came up. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's
so
a
I
there's a
completed.
few locations that are off the list.
Mm,
Like Sanctuary will never show up. Red Rocket won't show up. Warwick Homestead,
Yeah,
I think
Warwick
is one.
Warwick was grayed out on mine. Like there were a couple that were grayed out, and I just assumed because I didn't have people living there, or I didn't know why they were grayed out.
Yeah, there's some of them that you just can't.
Warwick has a what do you call it when they can't be killed?
Essential?
Essential. Yes, it has a couple of essential characters there that it won't let you, so it won't let you
That
do it
makes
because
sense.
they're
Yeah, because they're tied to the Institute quest.
I actually had
Mhm.
for the second group, I had the ability to target Sanctuary. I was surprised about that. Like after doing the first and the support, I was able to target Sanctuary on the list. I'm like, wow, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, because they shouldn't be there.
They were. It said Sanctuary, but not only that, we skipped over the most exciting dramatic moment. Yeah, kick out the raiders. You kick out the settlers. You tell them what's what. They start walking, and then on the corner of your screen, Preston hated that. Preston hates you. I'm like, oh my god, it was so dramatic. Like, and they just would write you, he hates you. I'm like,
Preston
wow.
hates you? Oh, because it's telling you his affinity level. I get it.
Yeah, right. Oh, because I have a mod
I
to
think
show
you're
affinity,
joking,
so I think
but it
that's
actually says it.
yeah, I think that's partly why. But also, before doing all this, I sent Curie home. I sent Dog Meat home because even talking to Shank and telling Shank that I was going to invade the Commonwealth, Curie disliked that and went down from 100% affinity to 98.5. And I'm like, oh,
How
yeah, this is
dare.
going to get bad, real quick. So I sent
Yeah.
her to Oberlin. I sent Dog Meat back to Sanctuary, assuming I would never actually attack it.
Get the
I don't
caption.
want to have to look Preston in the eye.
It's like dog
hates
meat
me.
pisses on your leg.
Yeah, so I think that you would see at least the one thing in the corner, but maybe because I have the affinity mod is why I got the whole hates you. It was just such a great double tap. I'm like, oh wow.
Now,
Yeah.
Preston Preston's essential, right? I can't kill him because I got into a firefight with him. I did swing back by Sanctuary after taking a couple of my settlements, and yeah, Preston hated me and started shooting at me. I was shooting back, but I don't remember him dying because I probably would have let him die at that point.
Yeah, you got to have a mod
Yeah,
to kill him.
It's most
I ended
likely
up running
essential.
away. I ran up to I had gone there to go look for something in the workbench. I was like, oh, is that thing in there? I forget what I was looking for, but it was probably a Hangman Alley.
You need
But I
to
was
get
like,
him
that
and
guy's-
Longfellow to hit each other. Longfellow will show up. Preston and Longfellow just go at it forever.
Oh Lord,
That man, I tell you what.
he's
he's just-
temperamental.
Andrew,
That guy.
so when you did this, Home Sweet Home, any differences for you, or what was your plan of attack?
I ain't done shit yet. I played Shelter instead.
Oh, so you didn't get the quest done. Okay, we talked about it.
Done anything? No.
We talked about it 2-3 days ago, and I'm like, well, maybe if we just do part, you and I both, and then you're like, no, I'm gonna get it done.
Nah, I didn't get a chance to. New job, new week, new schedule. But I'm still trying to
It's a
figure
lot.
shit out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
So
I'm hoping to
looking
get
at
to
the
it
notes,
this weekend and
so
get
Boston
it done by
Airport,
next
Bunker
weekend.
Hill, the castle, and the Covenant can never be targeted. Sanctuary Hills
Those
and
are all-
Finch Farm
Those are all quest locked.
can
locations.
be depending on certain quest states.
So must be where I'm at with the Minutemen. I mean, my character has never gone to the Institute yet, so maybe that's the quest state, and I
Finch
haven't
Farm.
locked out other. Yeah, Finch Farm with the the.
I think I gave him to the pack.
forked. Oh,
Yeah.
nice. I mean, finches, they like animals. Sure.
Just don't invite any cats over.
So that is Home Sweet Home, which of course, after you get all three, leads you to power play. Unless you were Ray, you went directly to power play. Do not collect $200, and you get Shank told, "Hey, there's word from Nuka World, right? Nissa's betrayed us. Is that how it happens?"
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, because only you and Steve have done this part. I haven't done it yet. I've done it. I mean, I've never even done it in the past, but I've seen videos of it done. So.
Yeah. So depending on how you've allocated, the different parts of the park,
Mm-hmm.
will determine, who is the traitor.
Right. So
And-
it has nothing to do with the new settlements you set up. So you might have set up a bunch of raider outposts. Even if the gang that doesn't like you got most of them, they'll still attack you based on the park allocation.
Yeah. And so I had done 2 for the pack, 2 for the disciples. So 2 for the operators and 1 for the disciples. So the disciples were pissed
attacking.
off. And so they had taken the power plant.
I
So
didn't give
it's-
any to the disciples. I gave 3 to the operators and 2 to the pack.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
you
So now they're well trenched in. They've got snipers on the roof. They've got the place coated in explosives.
Mm-hmm.
But so you and the other 2 factions are going to storm the place. So the best thing that happened to me was I died. And so I respawned back outside because Mason was running with me, and that dork was constantly walking into the river and getting in my way and, tipping everybody off. All of a sudden, they're throwing grenades. So when I died and went back in, I could creep up the steps and be 2 steps away from somebody up above me, and they wouldn't see me because I think I've got 5 sneak. And so I was just jumping, from group to group, cutting them up with my little chainsaw,
Looks like
putting
a good
them in
fight.
nice, neat packages.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to fight your way through this power plant. and there's a few ghouls, not a lot, but a lot of raiders.
Yeah.
And turrets and all kinds of goodies. So you fight your way through, get to the roof, and then you've got to take out the leader of the group that you're fighting against, and that person has the key to the power plant on them. And the other thing was going through, because we're playing on survival, every other raider was legendary. I mean, the place was just absolutely crawling with legendary
Nice.
enemies. That place is riddled with so many 2 and 3 star legendary items that I just left because I didn't need them. I didn't want the carry weight, and so got up to the top, took out Nisa, and got the key, pushed the button, and the fireworks go off.
Is this
And
tied
usually
to?
at this point,
Yep.
I fast travel to Fizz Top Grill.
Oh, to see
oh,
the
no.
No. Not now.
And so I had no idea that when you go back through the plant, it's now crawling with ghouls.
Oh,
I mean, it's
weird.
there's almost as many ghouls as there was
Raiders.
Oh, really?
They spawn back in.
Yeah.
I never went back there.
But it has full power Nuka World, right? Everything
Yeah,
restored.
everything's powered up.
Mm-hmm.
You took them out, you got the kitty control room. That is a pretty cool moment. Like when I've seen it done from other people, like
Yeah.
going in there, pressing it, all the fireworks going off, and then finally things lit up.
Yeah.
And then you can talk to the different raider leaders, right?
Yeah, I didn't really have much to say to them. I think they talk about how, we need to keep this going. We're
Bunch
not.
of raider chest beating. And
Yeah, we're not
Yeah.
going to stop here. And
Commonwealth
Take this
is
to the
ours.
Commonwealth.
But yeah. Well, then you go back to Gage,
Mhm.
and he says, "Great job. Get back to work."
It's like, even though we've established our presence, there's still caps out there to be made, boss. But as long as the caps are coming in, the gangs will always have your back. Yep.
Watch your
It's
back,
sad.
sneak thief.
And now all the lights in the different areas are working.
Which is
It's
the
lit up.
best.
It's the best, and there's absolutely no reason to go back and look at them.
No, you're done.
But you can. There are things that open up. Like if you talk to them. So like I've done it, before with open
rides.
season. There are rides that are available now and things you can power and
Yeah.
use. Like it's functional. I think there are even some locations, like if you wanted to get the quantum power armor, this would be easier now that the power's on, to go back in.
I think it's the only way to get that. It's the only
Right.
way, unless you have jump
Yeah,
pack,
unless
right?
mods change
Um,
things. Yeah,
yeah.
or a jetpack like I have. Yeah.
And
Then you can go to the roof and get that last star core.
now I was going to say, how does this relate to Star Cores? And is this now when you get access to the Red Rocket settlement there,
Yep.
which you're finished, so you're leaving Nuka World, you're not coming back. Okay, now you can have a settlement here finally.
Right.
And that's their draw to get you to keep coming back to Nuka World. Oh, you have a settlement. Preston says, oh, hey, there's a settlement that needs your help. We just opened it up over by Nuka World. Get back there. Ugh.
Speaking of that Nuka quantum armor, I was cruising around with DJ radio guy Travis, and he ended up jumping into that quantum
Nice.
armor when I was clearing out Galactic Zone.
That's fun.
I was bummed. I died. He lost it.
hopped
He
out.
never
Aw.
went back in. I thought it was gonna be fun because I knew I wasn't gonna run around with it. So I was like, oh,
And you can't command him
Travis
to.
finally-
Yeah.
yeah. Travis finally picked up his power armor.
It is so hard.
So he will
yeah.
jump into that well ahead of when you can get it yourself.
It is so hard to deck that guy out. Like, you try to give him equipment, you drop it at his feet, and he won't pick stuff up or whatever. You turn your back for 2 seconds, and he has a mini nuke, and he's in power armor. You're like, where did you get that, dude? That's awesome. Good
the
job.
Travanator. Yeah.
Yeah, but you drop
thought it was funny,
weapons
he
at
was-
his feet, he won't grab
He
them.
had a gamma gun he was shooting everybody with. I'm like, man, that's fucked up.
That's awesome. I love those things.
He is a secret beast.
They look cool. I can't ever make use of a gamma gun, but they look neat when other people are shooting them.
So that is it. That is the end of Nuka World. You take
Beauty.
it over. You can obviously keep doing the raiding quests and this and that. Go back to the settlement, and you can't make nice with Preston unless you're like Ray and never talk to Preston. In which case, you can make nice with him if you eventually kill the raiders.
Oh, have you done it that way, Ray? Can you go? Like, are they still in the Museum of Freedom? And
You have to talk to Preston if that was the case, though.
Oh, good Lord, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't done Sanctuary, so he could still go back there.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
talk to Preston, see what happens.
So what happens if you do that? The way it works, obviously, Preston disavows you. He hates you forever. There's no making up to him. Like, even if you talk to him and you go back and you do open season now, kill all the raiders, he's not going to be your friend again. He'll no longer be your companion. He doesn't trust you anymore. But if you've never collected him, if you pulled a Ray and you never even talked to him, you go to Concord, you go through the whole rigmarole, you put on the power armor, you take out the raiders there, he goes back to Sanctuary, and he's your buddy. When he gets to Sanctuary, he's like, what the hell? You think I wouldn't hear about what you've been doing? And he gets all mad at you, and he's like, I know who and what you are now. And, until you take out those friends of yours, we got nothing else to say.
Yeah, I just
So-
saved your ass from the museum, dude.
But if you go and take them out then and do open season, come back, Preston will pick up from where you left off and tell you to help out,
10
rebuild
pints
Sanctuary
bluff.
and all that. And so if you do it that way, you can now do the Minutemen quest and have Preston as an ally, but only if you never talked to him before invading the Commonwealth. If he's already your companion, you invade the Commonwealth, he will no longer be your companion.
Crazy.
He can be the curator of the museum. That's all.
There you go.
I don't need
Yeah.
him for anything else.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And that's our quests.
yeah. Those are our quests. We are done with the roundtable, but next week, if anyone wants to do some feedback, let us know if they've gotten a chance to do
Yeah.
this. Please do.
And Steve,
Yeah,
just
my
yep. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna follow up and finish this off here. The eyes on the prize. I saved that one for last. That's the one to get the tickets, and I did that the
Oh.
Nuka Cade one.
Okay.
So I went over and I started to go do it, and I was like, oh man, I have like 9,000. I'll have this done in no time. And then I realized it's actually 100,000.
100,000, not 10,000, 100,000.
So it actually did take me a few hours.
Oh Lord.
And yeah, so I went and I did the shooting game, and I kept plugging away at it. At one point, my game froze, and I hadn't, and I'm in survival mode. I hadn't saved,
No.
so I had to go back and do it again.
Pure vanilla survival mode. Like
Oh
the
my
worst
God.
way to ever
Oh,
decide to get all
man.
the achievements.
God
Like, not only
damn.
am I going to get all achievements, I'm going to do it. Like,
In
and
survival
now you're
mode.
playing very hard in Starfield because you just can't resist.
Yeah.
I'm playing normal in Starfield. I just people turn it down for ship battle and stuff like that. Totally get it. I'm trying not to. I'm learning how to beat it on normal. But if it gets too easy, I'll bump it up too, because you get to a point. You get to a point where you're used to dying now, and you just
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a survival mode convert. I do hope when survival mode comes to Starfield, if it does, that it's a little bit more lenient than Fallout survival mode. Like, make it a little bit kinder. Okay, maybe more like the Skyrim survival mode, but
Maybe.
Right.
So I got the Eternium. Is that the one? Because I'd been going back and forth, taking to the Commonwealth and Nuka World, that I ended up getting that quest where you go into the bumper cars and take on the people who have gone through the
Yeah.
what do you call it? The cage, the match,
gauntlet?
the gauntlet. Thank you. And they
yes.
ask you, are you the new, are you the new overboss who's going to be fighting people who come through the gauntlet? And you go, yes. And you do it like 8 times, and then you meet a knight. probably
What?
like a BOS knight, and he's carrying
Yeah,
like
he's
this
like the
Gatling
level 80
laser.
Black Knight from Skyrim.
There's
Like
the
that.
Ebony Knight.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So I had never gotten that before.
No
and so I got
way.
that this playthrough. I was like, wow, a cool weapon I'm never going to use. Um, but I got it.
A set of
and
ebony
so
armor.
I wanted to say that I got to the Eyes of the Prize done.
Mhm.
Yeah, I got all the
Mhm.
Nuka-Cade tickets.
That's
and I was
amazing.
from shooting.
So you got Library, you got all 5 magazines, you did the hostile takeover,
Librarian.
you got all of the 8 raider
Hostile
camps in the
takeover.
Commonwealth.
I got all 8 Raider camps.
You
I
made all
finally
the-
I hit.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I hit 100% achievements
You got
on this
all
run.
the Nuka-Colas, and you did the tickets. Holy
Mhm.
shit. Good
Mhm.
job, Steve. That's just amazing.
Yeah,
Yes. Amoral Combat is the name
amoral
of the quest.
combat.
Mhm.
Thank you. And so I did this, and I wrote this down here. I finished it up. I got my last achievement at like 10:44 on a Sunday night, and I had to go to work on Monday. So I closed the game. And
Without saving.
you know what? No, I closed the game, and then what happened was the next day I was like, oh, I don't have to play Fallout, so I fired up my Nexus Vortex, the software that handles mods for Bethesda games, because I wanted to maybe go open up Skyrim or something different other than Fallout 4 that I'd been only playing for months.
Living in.
Months now, yeah.
But then it went and recognized my vanilla game of Fallout because I had disconnected it, and then it like wrote over. So I know that my save for my character is still kind of there if I wanted to, but honestly, it wasn't showing up when I
It's done.
launched Fallout 4, and I just went, oh, you know what? 100%
Whatever.
achievement, mic drop, boom, I'm out,
It's
never
done.
coming back to it.
Get it.
Well, until I play the game again, because I do love it, but I just meant for this playthrough.
No,
Yeah, done.
You've reached the zenith of your Fallout 4 career.
Yeah.
Sure.
You're going to walk into the sunset like the sole survivor in Fallout 1. Definitely.
Totally.
Very good, Steve. Very impressive, sir. Kudos for a vanilla season of survival mode. You know, there's all sorts of, peculiarities with the system of survival mode that we were playing with mods to sort of get around, and you sort of braved through it all and rushed on. That's just great. Good job, sir. All right.
Years of practice.
Oh, man. No kidding. Well, that wraps up our quests and Steve's achievement run. That's awesome. Let's check in with some iguana bits. Jess, what do we have in the way of news this week?
Sure. So there was some real news this week, but because the show's going long, I'll keep it relatively short. First of all, Atlantic City has a date, y'all. If you haven't been watching the news, keeping up, just 2 days ago, they announced a date for the Atlantic City expedition coming to Fallout 76. So it will be launching part 1 on December 5th. So I thought this was really kind of neat because I'd been talking about how initially the first video and reveal on it said it'd be coming early 2024. And I mentioned there's usually a December update. So I thought maybe we'd be getting something from 011 or what have you in December, just off the community calendar, which is why it's not on the calendar. But there's always been the first week or two of December an update. Turns out we're getting Atlantic City. So they have said that with everything they're trying to add, because of the feedback, and they know people want more from expeditions than just 2 missions, go clean out basically what we got with the pit, which the pit had some cool stuff. It was a neat explorable area. You can travel back and forth from it. Once they got rid of the having to charge your battery every time to get there, it became much easier to do. But that's also after people had kind of enough of it. So they haven't going back much. So Atlantic City, December 5th. Also, it'll be in the PTS next month. So they're opening the PTS up again, I think October 3rd. Not sure exactly, but that's when we'll get the first look and kind of hear what it's about. Things that we do know they're adding to Atlantic City. They said factions, creatures, missions, rewards, and a casino. So
and
that's
currency.
yes, and of course currency. But
Oh,
it
boy.
may not be anything. It may not be anything beyond what we already get. I think you'll probably still get stamps from doing stuff in at least some stuff in Atlantic City. We'll see. But so compare that to what we have for the pit. Factions. Technically, we did get 2 factions with the pit. Creatures. We got trogs. Missions, both of those things, Ashes to Fire and Union Dudes were both missions. Rewards, yeah, we had rewards. Casino, no, that's new. So technically, we had all these, but the casino during the pit. But they've said a lot to hint that it's much more fleshed out. Additionally, it'll be coming in 2 parts. So this is part 1. And with what they're adding, I imagine we're getting NPCs with quests, relationships, some persistent information, and hopefully a larger map, a larger explore map. Yes, it's still an expedition, which means it's instanced. But all an expedition means is you're getting in a vertibird, you're going to a different place, and you're playing there. If you log out when you're there and log back in, you'll still be there. That's true with the pit, even though people mostly didn't do that. And it'll be true here. So if there's more to do, there's more reason to do that. Also, you can go back and forth more easily, as we know. So I'm very hopeful for it. We just got 2-3 weeks before we get a good look at what's coming for people in the PTS. And hopefully between this update and the next, we get ourselves a good, solid chunk of content.
Ray, is that enough to make you hop back into 76 to check that out on the test server?
Yeah, I probably will. I think I've got the test server loaded on one of my machines.
Nice.
And if you don't do the test, you can jump in and stream it with us like we did for the pit. We will go through and do the first couple missions maybe as a show.
That'd be fun.
Also,
I would jump back in to start like a new character for like a round table or something. That I wouldn't go back now right now.
Excellent.
Otherwise.
There's been so much added to 76. I may have slowed down finally playing the last couple months, but there's some neat stuff there. The new events and creatures and everything. I mean, it's been really fun. But I'm having a whole new area that's a little more exciting. So we'll see how that goes.
The whole new area is called space.
Yes, indeed. Fire and energy damage. So we know people have been reporting since around the time that we got the Agua and the Blue Devil that fire damage and energy damage from robots has been off the chart. People are melting, doesn't feel like fireproof is working properly, blah, blah, blah. Robots doing a lot more damage than they used to. And turrets, laser turrets, oh my goodness, dangerous. Running a silo is definitely a real gauntlet now. So they are looking, not just looking into it, but they've said they are specifically going to address rebalancing fire and energy damage in a future update.
Good.
The chances are good that we will see the calibration of that in the PTS too. So we should get feedback on how that is. So if you've avoided playing because you feel like your build's not working anymore, hopefully that gets rebalanced. And that'll be in the PTS.
They're going to rebalance it, but accidentally make it harder.
Well, that's kind of what they just did, right? By kind of fixing and rebalancing some damage. Initially, they nerfed us a bit hard, and then they recalibrated. Like they always do it in 2 parts, and it always seems like nerfing comes first. No idea why it happens that way. Yeah. But also, in addition to the damage issues with fire and energy, we haven't been able to craft the Union Dudes power set and the auto axe. Even if you unlocked it, you haven't been able to craft some of it in the skins.
Really?
So they're going to be fixing that again. Yeah. Have you tried to do it in the last 2 months?
No, not recently, but that's interesting. Weird.
It's a problem. Yeah, they're busted at the crafting stations. So we are going to, yeah, there we go. Green Dragon Chat saying, hope they fix the armor weapon plans. We lost the plans to build. Yeah, exactly. And so there are a couple things that aren't working. They're gonna try to fix all that. I already mentioned the Atom Shop this week with the Palace set. It's a really cool build set. I haven't built a camp like seriously in a couple months, or actually, you know what, that's not true. Technically in August when I logged in, I did work on one of my gardens for a bit and work on one of my camps for a little bit.
Can't help
and I did
yourself.
work on my brick house. When we got the new kitchen set with the counters and the cabinets, even if I'm not playing as much, I jumped in, and you better believe I spent a couple hours playing with kitchen stuff and all that. It was a good time.
I went and took a look at those pieces, and they do look amazing. I think they'd look really good in the ash heap on top of one of those glowing spots. Personally, I think that would look really good.
Ooh, that is a good idea. Because there's there's like that little Welcome to Hell trench that's actually kind of close to Nuka World now. But there's a really great glowing red trench that I've never built in.
Yeah, and some of those pieces would really reflect interestingly.
That gold would reflect well. Even the small trench near Murgles, if you go down the hill a little bit in that gully. Wow, that's a good idea. Okay, cool. We're gonna make this quick because I don't have a whole lot of info up, and this could be a big discussion. But I did mention at the top of the show I wanted to talk about the leaks a little bit. The leaks we have from Microsoft. Now, how did this happen? If you don't keep up with gaming news, you do know, of course, about the Microsoft Activision Blizzard King acquisition. Well, while a lot of that's settled, they're still working stuff through with CMA, which, by the way, word just came today that they're near a conclusion with the CMA too on the new compromise thing for cloud rights. There's still fact-finding stuff. There's still documents that need to be filed. And on Tuesday, an email was filed with public documents linked to the public site for the case where it is, and that email had attached a bunch of non-redacted documents. So it was from what I understand an error on Microsoft's side. It was not the FTC or the court this time. However, it's possible that the person at Microsoft posting the email and uploading the information didn't realize it was a public side. They thought it was part of one of the private sides, not the public side, but it was public. Documents weren't redacted, so there were like 72 or 81 pages, something divisible by 9. But there were a lot of documents there that had some really interesting stuff. And I mentioned that some of it had to do with Bethesda. So what is that about? What am I talking about? Well, the one thing that probably has come through to you if you paying attention is that there is more official confirmation word of an Oblivion remaster and a Fallout 3 remaster. So this is huge. Obviously, I mean, for us, this is like the biggest news you can get. Now, there was the leak 3 months ago from the one person who worked at the studio and left, who was saying my company is working on an Oblivion remaster with a code name. But besides the fact that they could verify his employment at that company, we didn't know whether or not what he was saying was correct. But it was a good rumor. At the time, I poo-pooed it a little bit because, and a number of other people did, because of the fact that reworking with the engine it's a tough thing to remaster out of Gamebryo. And you'd have to more like remake it. And it's quite the undertaking to be done outside of Bethesda itself with a separate studio. However, then I believe later that week it came out that when I got to read the actual post he had done on, I think it was Reset Era, that they were doing a layered approach where Gamebryo was going to be the engine behind it still, but they were running it as an Unreal rendering layer. So essentially all the visuals and textures and a lot of the information would be coming from Unreal, but it would be controlled with the brains from an updated Gamebryo underneath. And that seemed way more viable, which made it seem possible. And now this coming out with the whole, it's basically a forecast of their games for the next 4 years from 2020 to 2024, like what they were working on fiscal year, by the way. So that's about, 4 months behind normal. They had listed both an Oblivion remaster and a Fallout 3 remaster. So yeah, incredible. I would consider this confirmation the Oblivion remaster is happening, whether it's a remake or remaster, and they just used the wrong word, we don't know, but I think it's what we heard. However, I would caution people seeing all these hyperbolic articles saying Fallout 3 remaster confirmed, Fallout 3 remake confirmed, that on this sheet, they had Oblivion, originally scheduled for, hoping to get it out, what was it, fiscal year 22, so that would be early 2023. It would be out by now. And the original plan, this is pre-COVID, of course, they drew this up. And they had the Fallout 3 remaster listed like fiscal year 2024 end, which would mean, in about a year and a half, 2 years from now. I would say that the one is dependent on the other. And we'll see how the Oblivion remaster does, if it comes in on time, because we're already behind schedule with COVID delays and this and that. If it does well and the same studio is doing it and they hit their timeline, their goals outside of the delays we've had, then we probably will see it. But I wouldn't count on it at this point because this is a past document, from early 2020 and not current document, and plans change. But the fact that they were even thinking of it, guys, I mean, how exciting is that?
I was listening to a podcast called The Fallout Feed, and I heard Jess promise that they were coming out with a remake. I think is what I heard.
Yeah, just now. That's what she said just now.
Yeah,
She
just
definitely
now.
said
Yeah.
that. Yeah. I was there.
I never
listened
played
to that too.
Oblivion, so that would be fun because I'm not likely to go back and play something on, that old at this point. And Fallout 3, I really enjoyed playing it. as a part of the roundtable, but it would be amazing to play with newer technology.
Yeah.
Modernize it a little bit.
Yeah, it'd be real fun. I am still looking forward and hearing to what they're doing with Fallout 4, but
Right, the Fallout 4 Next Gen update, and that would be being done, as far as we know. Fallout 4 Next Gen is being done internally at Bethesda. So,
which I'll try and temper my excitement on that. But I'm hoping for something like a Skyrim Special Edition with all the Creation Club stuff. I think
that's what
that'd
I'm
be really fun to
expecting.
have it built in and actually working all together. That
Yeah,
would be amazing.
a slightly updated engine and all these creations they've been having, because they haven't released a creation for Fallout 4 since what, late 2020, early 2021. It's been
What
like
was the
we're
one they did
2
the
years
Capital
behind at
Wasteland
least.
one? Yeah.
Wasteland Mercenaries was 2020. Yeah, so that, I think that was the last one. So that's exciting. Anyway, yeah, I would love a Fallout 3 remaster. Hopefully it happens, but Oblivion remaster first. And given the timeline, even if say COVID added a 2-year delay and we would have the Oblivion remaster like 6 months ago or so, maybe we'll hear more about it within the next year. And Fallout 4 Next Gen update, hopefully not too long. I know they're working on Starfield, but people are excited for that too. So got all that. The only other thing I wanted to mention on this list, besides the don't count your chickens, is there's a lot of stuff on here, and some of it has already come to pass. So, for instance, what they had for 2021 was, Doom Eternal and DLC came out, Fallout Wastelanders came out, Deathloop came out. Like these were on time. Okay, then you get into 2021, Starfield obviously delayed. Redfall obviously delayed, but has come out. Both of these have come out now. Doom Eternal DLC, all that happened. Ghostwire Tokyo, all that happened. Fallout Worlds for Fallout 76 came out. Interesting to think that custom worlds for Fallout on the roadmap for late 2021. We actually got it late 2021. So that was less delayed than the other things on this list. So good job. Good job, Bethesda, on that one for 76. Keeping on going down, for the next year, fiscal year, once again, 2022. Again, these are a couple months behind this fiscal year. You have the Oblivion remaster. Okay, hasn't happened. Indiana Jones game. We know they're working on it, hasn't happened. And Starfield DLC. So that stuff should be around next year. But the fact that we know that they were working on this and had it on their list, these are all good. But it's once you get to 2023 and 2024 that you then say, okay, they must be working on these projects to have them on the list, but that could change. So things like Doom Year Zero, next Doom game, that could be awesome. Project Kestrel, Project Platinum. We don't know what either of those are yet. Projects, right? Elder Scrolls 6, year-end 2024.
Skyrim 2? Really?
Yeah, Skyrim 2. We know that's not going to be till probably 2027 or 28 at the earliest, but we'll see. Once again, this is their optimistic list pre-COVID. But the last thing I wanted to mention is if you go to the mobile side, so they do list a lot of mobile games here. And when this was made, they have Fallout Shelter Online on there for 2020, which is basically when it came out, 2019, 2020. It didn't ever come here. But then they have like 4 other things listed with project code names or planned titles. And the only things we had Blades, I think would have been one of these on the list early on. That's probably Project Whirlwind was Blades. We have Project Ubu.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.
And Project Wanderer. Okay. Project Wanderer sounds very Wastelandish. We haven't gotten a new mobile game involving the Fallout at all yet. So maybe there's something on there. Maybe my vindication about when they were changing the rights and pulling down the site for Fallout Shelter Online, discontinuing because they might bring it to US, is still going to happen just a year later than we were thinking.
No way.
I'm feeling vindicated. I'm hoping. We've also had Mighty Doom. So Mighty Doom could have been Project Ubu or one of the other planned titles on the list, but we know they had an unannounced mobile game. Todd said as much in his interview with Lex Friedman. And it came up, actually, I think it came up in an interview with GameSpot too. We know that there are unannounced mobile titles. So that is no doubt the case. And the fact they've got like 4 or 5 listed on this sheet. Yeah, I don't know. I get excited.
It's going to be a Starfield mobile.
Starfield
game.
Snap.
Yeah, there you go.
Trading
It'll
cards.
be the what do you call it? Hacking
I was
Picklock game
just
from
thinking that
Starfield.
if that was an app, I would sit and play that game a lot.
The
I've been
Digilock
hearing
is
that a lot.
fun.
Yeah.
Thinking ahead, like planning on it, being like, oh man, these 3 fit, but which one will I need to put in order to get the other one? My strategy is to like always pick the most complex one that actually works.
Right. Yeah. Pick the
That
one with the
seems to be
most
pretty solid.
pieces and the weirdest positions. See where that one fits, and then base the rest of them off of that. That's what I do.
So I've started, putting them all in place, so that I have the whole lock solved before I start the
Yes.
first piece.
Right.
Matching
Get
them up,
them
nice.
all situated, and then one by one put them in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you get up to the higher locks, you just make a note about, which keys you use.
Mhm.
So I need 1, 4 and 3 for the first level.
Because
you know.
there'll be a couple that you don't use in those other
Yeah.
level ones. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't had many failures. It's worked pretty well for me. I mean, every once in a while I gotta undo like every few, but I'm up to like 60 digipicks, I think. So
I
I'm
struggled.
okay.
Wow, I've struggled on a couple master locks.
So I only
Um,
unlocked the ability to do master like 2 days ago. I've come across maybe one. Yeah, I haven't been able to do master long, which is bothersome because in the Mars facility, I came across no less than 3 master locks I wanted to get into.
Yeah,
Should go back.
What's between
I
advanced
think I'm
and
at level
master?
3.
Expert. You
Expert,
have
okay.
novice, advanced, expert, master. I think in that order.
Yep.
Oh, also like
that the
tiers
same
of
level as
tiers of
Skyrim?
items. Like a lot of stuff. There are wikis starting for Starfield, but they're not very in depth yet. So we're just kind of figuring it all out together. It seems to be like with gear. You've got regular gear, then calibrated, then refined, then advanced. Right? Those are like the 4 tiers.
Oh, they
there's probably
should have
a tier
picked a
beyond that I
different
haven't
word
seen
than
yet.
advanced, because advanced is already one of the tiers in lockpicking. That's not right. Don't just pick a different word, damn it, and don't make it the top level on one and the second level on a different scale. Don't do that.
Well, that's what I've found so far. So we'll see how the gear keeps going. I'm sure
Yeah.
there are higher tiers because I'm only level 27. It's we'll get there. We'll get there. Ugh, I've been so close. So as you know, I haven't been to Tequila City or Neon yet, and I've been so close to Tequila City. I have Sam on my ship now, but every time I think I'm gonna do it, I do something else. I'm deliberately avoiding it. The other day, and I wanted to talk to Sam instead. No, that's when I went and explored like 5 or 6 more systems to get my 20. Like I do have 4 powers, which I know we're not talking too deep about it yet, but I'm annoyed. I'm trying to avoid powers, but even without talking to Vlad to learn about more, they seem to just happen. Like I seem to go into a system and stumble upon it. I'm like, oh, great.
Yeah.
But Jess, you gotta go to Tequila City if you want to join the dance crew, the Freestyle Collective. That's
love a
my
good-
new dance crew.
Freestyle dance
So,
collective. Let's do it.
Yeah,
You carry
Yeah,
cardboard
totally.
boxes with you? Yeah.
But do you guys find that with powers too? I know we're gonna wrap because we've talked enough Starfield, but have you guys found
Yeah.
that with powers? That
I
when you
just
go-
I just started to scratch the surface of that. I think I'm lined up to get my second one.
Okay. See,
I've-
after I go on, Andrew.
So I've collected like 8 powers, and I've only ever loaded 1, and that was accidentally in the city with a bunch of people standing around, and they were not a fan of that. Everyone turned hostile all of a sudden and started fighting me, and was like, "Whoa, hey, wait!"
Depends
a
on the
second."
one you use. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
They did not like it.
So I think
I've
you can only
used
get 7
powers for
temples.
different things.
7 temples per game, I think it is, either 6 or 7. But I was worried that getting too many powers would kind of advance my game, but it still seems to be story based. But they land on my lap. I go to a system and then it's like, boom, check out the power on Proxima 3 or check out the power on, whatever the pup planet is. Like, I was
Yeah.
so mad. And I'm like, wait, I'm not even going to Vlad. I've never gone to Vlad once and I've got 4 powers.
There you go.
But I can't
I
ignore it.
use one that lets you see life forms around you. So
Oh, I love that one. Barry Mentats. Cool.
It's like Barry Mentats, yeah. Although they can tell when you're using it. So if you use it, the people are like, "Oh, what?
Someone's looking at
Somebody's,
me.
somebody's looking at me." And the oxygen one, I use that. And a fun one is like the gravity one to pull people in.
That's the one
like
I
Create a
accidentally.
gravity spot, and they all go.
Yeah, I
And it's
accidentally did that.
hilarious.
They didn't like
Yeah.
it. They didn't like that at all.
And then you do that in a crowd and then throw in a grenade and they all
Oh, smart.
goes off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tactical.
Ray, have you found, I know you haven't done powers much yet, but sneaking. So you tend to place a lot of your characters sneaky. I know you're
Yeah.
doing a variety, but are you finding that you're very easily detected? Because I'm having trouble stealthing. I've only got level 2 stealth, but I'm having a rough time of it. And I heard, I was listening to the Starfield Lorecast over on Robots Radio. I was listening to them, and I want to give credit where credit's due. And it was mentioned that taking off your spacesuit, like if you actually remove your spacesuit, the game knows you have it on. It's like wearing heavy armor. You
Yeah.
become much harder to detect. Has that been
Right.
the case?
Yeah.
You don't hear the,
Oh my goodness.
don't hear
Yeah.
the rustle.
Clank, clank, clank.
And
depending
see,
on which
I
one
never
you
have it.
want.
I never have it show, because a
Right.
lot of
And
environments you
that's-
need your spacesuit.
Yeah. Yeah, I picked that up when I started the Ryujin quest line because there's a
Right,
ton
so
of
much
sneaking
stealth.
on that one. But yeah, it's I do love sneak, but so I've been doing sneak with my melee character,
Mm-hmm.
and it's frustrating because the only way to advance the sneak skill is to
10 sneaks
Is-
kills.
sneak attacks. You don't necessarily have to kill them. You just have to sneak attack them. And so you end up having to use a gun with a silencer on it to be able to do it effectively, because until you have incredibly high sneak,
You can't get close to them.
you can
Yeah.
never sneak up on anybody close enough to hit them with a sword.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like.
Wow. So it
And if
it's a little bit challenging from that perspective, but once you do get it ranked up, then
if your ranged weapon is not silenced, does it not count as a sneak attack?
it does, but
You only
then
get one.
then you only get one.
Okay.
What I like to do is get on top of a building with a bunch of spacers or pirates or some
Down below. Take a shot and hide, wait for it to go back to hidden, and then do it again and again.
You never get any more than caution. And even if you're just in caution, you can still get a sneak hit.
Oh, nice. Okay. I might
And
try
so
it that way.
you sneak up to the edge, pop somebody, sneak back.
Yeah.
They're, they kind of like, what? And then go right back to normal. And if you're using a silenced weapon, if they're spaced far enough apart,
They
don't all go aggro.
Yeah, I
you can bang it away pretty quick
I
if
just
you
don't
just
use guns.
sneak up, shoot, back up, shoot,
Yeah.
back up.
I just don't use guns is the only problem.
Right.
So
Yeah, I might
I
have to
can't-
just for this.
I can't advance my sneak. Yeah, so I'll probably have to hop out of my spacesuit and do sneak attacks.
Well, no, because you can sneak around people. You just can't get too close. You're very easily detected. So I have gotten plenty of sneak kills in my spacesuit, but I've got a weapon from a distance that I'm using. I do have one suppressed weapon.
I might hop out of my spacesuit just to see the difference in the
Yeah.
detection, just to see what happens.
Yeah, just
there.
make sure you're inside of a building.
Oh, come on. You like
This is how you
air?
get your
You like
diseases.
breathing?
Oh gosh, I panic before I learned how to hide things or even take stuff off. Like there are some quests where you take a suit off and just accidentally leave the shelter, and it's horrible.
Oh yeah, yeah. When I first started, the number of times I left and got out of the ship at Mars,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden it starts alarm.
Caution, Will Rogers.
Well, that wraps up our bits, and I think most of the show.
All right, I think that does wrap up the show. Is there anything else that anyone would like to talk about before signing off tonight?
I'm gonna go start a potato farm on Mars.
Are you going to use your own poop as fertilizer there,
Yep.
Steve? Attaboy. I love that movie.
Solarum tuberosum.
I haven't seen it nearly as much as you, but I know that's one of your comfort films that you and your wife like to watch over and over. But I
Totally.
will also underline that The Martian is a pretty kick-ass film. So everyone go out there
It's good.
and check it out. All right, then. So you can check out Steve over there on Twitter at his weird title that I will let him identify for us.
I don't know. Find me in the Discord under
Yeah.
Pip-Boy Steve. That's just better.
Discord's better. Pip-Boy Steve.
Yeah.
All right, Steve. And thanks so
Fallout
much
feed
for all.
Discord.
Yeah, thanks so much for all of your hard work on our character generators. We owe this roundtable project to you, so thanks a lot for your work, sir.
Yes.
Yep.
No worries.
And you can find Jess over there on Twitter at. I almost said you Wastelanders. You Spacelanders. No. She is Sleep is for Tea. And also
There and on the
Dame
blue
Sugin.
sky.
Blue Sky. All right. Check her out over there too. Ray, have you hopped onto new and different social media recently with new and different names?
No,
But
Discord is definitely about the only place you'll get any kind of a response from.
Or our Facebook group.
Yeah,
Or
Facebook
the
group. He
Facebook group.
used to post cute pictures of his paludarium and his frogs and stuff. I haven't seen an update on your cute frogs in a long time, Ray. You need to post some pictures of your geckos and stuff, man. You're leaving me hanging. So you can write Ray on Twitter at RayLB. You probably won't hear back from him. So just check us out in the Discord then. I am at Indie Android. The show is at the Fallout Feed. Find us in Discord. I'd like to thank everyone for downloading this edition of the Fallout Feed, and we will see you in the Wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, the Skyrimatic Podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the Wasteland.
Great double tap, goo piles between his legs. Come across chunk snap back. Take a load of this. My favorite cock. Blaine's brains banging out. What's the mouse on those puppies? Oh.
Fire the next shot. Never run out of juice. You can smoke anything.
On a regular joint. I like to pick up my settlers and bars.
I was going to go to town, Mac Daddy.
Impressive.
If you connect two units together, bumped up against, end up with two units.
You can lose an entire unit. I'm trying to think if I've ever been a whale.
Then you're a whale.
Yeah, this is out of control.